My child, pause everything for a moment and hear me, because what I am about to speak reaches into the very place where your next breakthrough is being formed. Pause for a moment. Your next move could change everything. These are not just words. They are a divine interruption, a holy disruption meant to pull you out of the noise and into clarity. You are standing at the edge of a crucial turning point, and I will not let you step into what's next blindly. Listen closely, because the guidance you've been seeking is arriving now. Listen to me now, my child, before you rush into another decision, another distraction, another obligation. I am asking you to stop and breathe, because this very moment is not ordinary. It is a holy pause that I myself have placed in your path to rescue you from the noise that has been swallowing your soul. I see how your thoughts race ahead of you, how your heart tries to plan 10 steps forward while your spirit grows tired just trying to keep up, and I am stepping right into the middle of that swirl and saying, "Be still with me here." You think you do not have time to slow down, but I am the one who holds time in my hands, and I am the one who chose this very second to lean in close and draw you into the quiet of my presence. You have carried so much in your mind today. What to do next? Who needs you? What might go wrong? What you might lose? And you have not even realized how heavy it has become, how loud it has grown inside you. But I have realized, I have seen, I have felt every tremor in your heart, and that is why I am calling you into this pause, not as punishment, not as delay, but as protection and invitation. I want you to feel my nearness, not just know about it in theory. I want you to sense the weight of my hand resting gently upon your shoulder, steadying you, reminding you that you are not walking through this day alone. Right now, as you breathe, I am closer than your heartbeat, nearer than the thoughts in your mind, and I am shifting the atmosphere around you so that fear loses its grip and my peace begins to settle like a soft blanket over every anxious corner of your soul. You do not have to perform for me in this moment. You do not have to impress me. You do not have to say the right things. You only have to be here with me, honest and open, just as you are. I already know the words you haven't said, the questions you're afraid to ask, the decisions you are dreading to make, and I am not intimidated by any of them. This pause is me taking you by the hand and leading you into a quiet room where it is just you and me, away from all the voices that have been shouting over mine, so that you can finally hear what your heart has been longing for, my calm, my guidance, my reassurance. Let your shoulders loosen, let your jaw relax, let the tension begin to melt as you remember that I am God and you are not, that I am in control and you do not have to be, that I see the full picture while you only see one frame. You have been living as if everything depends on your next move, but in this sacred pause I remind you that everything depends on my faithfulness, and I have never failed you. Stay here with me for a moment longer. Feel the weight of my love surrounding you, and know that this stillness is not wasted time, it is holy ground, and I am preparing your heart for the next step you will take. Feel the gravity of this moment pressing gently on your spirit, for I am drawing your attention to something far greater than what your eyes can see. You have walked through many ordinary days, many predictable hours, many familiar patterns, but this moment is not one of them. This moment carries a weight, a significance, a divine thickness that brushes against your soul even if you cannot fully name it. And I want you to notice it, to sense it, to let it settle upon you. Because while you are busy trying to manage everything around you, while you are trying to fix things, figure things out, and keep your world from shifting in uncontrollable ways, I am quietly rearranging the unseen landscape beneath your feet. I am shifting circumstances, redirecting paths, closing doors that would have broken you, and opening ones that will shape you. You may feel uncertain, but I am uncertain. You may feel like you are standing at a crossroads without a map, but I have seen the roads ahead of you from beginning to end. And I am not confused about your direction. You've been sensing change, haven't you? An unexplainable tension, a tug in your heart, a feeling that something is stirring without fully understanding what it is. That's because I am repositioning you. Not randomly, not accidentally, but very intentionally. You are standing on the edge of a decision that will affect your future in ways you can't imagine yet. And that's why this moment feels heavier, deeper, louder in your spirit. I am making you aware that something important is happening, even if your mind hasn't caught up with it yet. As you take in this moment, notice how your breathing slows, how your heart softens, how your soul tunes itself towards something higher. This is my doing. I am preparing you for the step you must take, and I don't want you to rush past the sacred weight as if it were nothing. I want you to understand something. I never place weight on a moment unless purpose is hidden inside it. And the purpose here is calling you to be more aware, more attuned, more present to my voice than you have been before. I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I'm trying to awaken you. For too long you've walked through life feeling like each day blends into the next. But this moment breaks the pattern. It marks a shift, a hinge, a turning point that will one day make sense when you look back and say, that's when everything changed. So stay here with me. Let the weight of this moment steady you, not scare you. Let it invite you, not pressure you. Let it remind you that I am moving, deeply, quietly, powerfully, in ways you will soon see unfold before your very eyes. Do not for a single breath imagine that you arrived in this pause by accident. I led you here with purpose woven into every step you've taken. You may think you stumbled into this season, or that life simply slowed you down, or that circumstances beyond your control forced you to pause. But I want you to hear me clearly. I orchestrated this suspension in your momentum. I designed this pause with a precision far beyond what you can see. I brought you here intentionally, because what is coming next requires a depth of clarity you cannot reach while moving too fast or carrying too much. I knew the moment you would feel weary. I knew when your strength would start fading. I knew when decisions would overwhelm you and when fear would whisper louder than faith. And so, long before you felt the shift, I set this pause in place for you to encounter me more intimately. You've been asking, why now? Why this? Why can't I push forward like before? And I've been answering in ways your heart felt even if your mind didn't interpret, because I need you here. I need you grounded. I need you aware. I need you still enough to hear what I've been trying to tell you for longer than you realize. The truth is, you've been moving through life carrying concerns I never meant for you to bear. You've been trying to solve problems I intended to solve with you, not apart from you. And now, in this intentional pause, I'm placing my hand on your restless spirit and saying, stay with me. Listen. Let me speak. I have brought you to this moment because transformation happens in stillness long before it shows up in motion. The clarity you seek is not found in rushing. It is found in resting. The direction you crave will not come through overthinking. It will come through my whisper. And the strength you feel you've lost is actually being rebuilt here, hidden within the quiet. I am not punishing you with this pause. I am preparing you. You think this moment interrupts your plans, but it is actually aligning you with mine. You think you're falling behind, but you're actually being pulled ahead into something far more wonderful than you would have reached on your own. To lean into this intangible moment. Let your questions sit in my hands. Let your fears loosen their grip. Let your heart remember that nothing in your life is random. Not your timing, not your steps, not your seasons. You are exactly where I want you, positioned for what comes next, and I will not let you miss a thing I have prepared for you. I know the quiet storm inside you. the one no one else sees, the one you carry behind your smile, the one that keeps your soul stirring even when your body is still. You've been trying to explain it to yourself, to others, or to brush it away as stress or exhaustion, but I want you to know that I see it with perfect clarity. Your restlessness has not been hidden from me. I have felt every tremor of uncertainty within you, every moment where you've questioned your worth, your future, your next step. I know the nights where your thoughts felt heavier than your pillow, the moments where you felt caught between what you desire and what you fear, and the hidden ache that comes from wondering whether you are truly on the right path. You have carried this restlessness like a secret weight, unsure of what it means, unsure of where it is leading you, unsure of how long you can hold it together. But hear me now. You were never meant to carry this alone. Your restlessness is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of transition. It is the stirring of your spirit as it senses the nearness of change. When something in your life is shifting, when something new is approaching, when a season is closing and another is opening, the soul often feels it before the mind understands it. And that tension, that pull, that internal vibration, is your heart responding to my movement. You feel restless because you were made for more than the place you have settled in. You feel unsettled because I am awakening desires within you that you tried to quiet. You feel unsure because I am stretching your faith beyond what is comfortable but not beyond what is possible. And I want you to hear this with tenderness. I am not disappointed in your restlessness. I am present within it. I am using it to draw you closer, to invite you deeper, to help you pay attention to what needs healing and what needs releasing. Your restlessness is not a flaw. It is a signal. A holy echo inside you saying, there is more. Do not settle here. And this is why I am keeping you in this pause, not to frustrate you, but to help your heart find clarity. You cannot discern my voice through turbulence, so I am calming the waters inside you one wave at a time. I am speaking into the places where fear tries to take root, reminding you that I am not asking you to figure everything out, only to trust me one breath, one moment, one decision at a time. Stay in this pause with me. Let me soothe the restlessness you've been fighting. For once your heart finds peace in my presence, the path ahead will no longer intimidate you, it will invite you. Hear me in this moment, because I am speaking right into the weight you've been hiding behind your strength, the load you've been pretending you can manage without help. You have been carrying more than anyone knows, more than you ever admitted, more than your own heart can hold for much longer. You don't show it on the outside, but inside you have been stretched thin, stretched quiet, stretched weary. There are burdens you never verbalized, expectations you never asked for, responsibilities you never meant to inherit, and yet you've been walking around trying to hold all of it together with a trembling spirit. I have watched you push through your days with a determination that looks brave, but I can see the exhaustion beneath it. I have seen the way you talk yourself into continuing, the way you tell yourself you can handle it, the way you try to silence the part of you that is tired of being strong all the time. You carry fears like fragile blasts tucked inside your chest, hoping no one notices the way they rattle when you breathe. And yet, even under the weight, you keep moving. You keep giving. You keep doing what you believe you must. But I never intended for you to carry all of it alone. There are things you picked up because you felt you had no choice. There are things you hold because you don't want to disappoint anyone. There are things weighing on you because life placed them on your shoulders before you even knew how to set boundaries. And then there are the things you picked up because you didn't trust that I would handle them. My child, listen to me. Not every burden that sits on your shoulders belongs to you. Some of them belong to me. Some of them belong to me from the very beginning. I am inviting you to notice the heaviness you've been ignoring. Notice the tension in your spirit, the emotional fatigue, the weariness that doesn't go away even when you rest your body. That is your soul telling you the truth, that you've been holding too tightly to what I've been trying to take from your hands. And this pause, this moment, this inward stillness I'm calling you into, is the place where I want you to set those burdens down. Not just drop them briefly so you can pick them up again tomorrow, but truly release them. Lay them at my feet and let them go. You don't have to be the savior of everything around you. You don't have to solve everything. You don't have to protect everyone. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. I'm strong enough for both of us. I'm strong enough for everything. I am not asking you to surrender because you're failing. I'm asking you to surrender because I want to carry what is too heavy for you. You've carried enough. Let me carry you now. Before you take your next step, pause and feel the magnitude of what I am preparing inside you, because the next move you make will echo far longer than you realize. You may think you're making an ordinary decision, a simple choice, a small adjustment, but I am telling you with tenderness and authority, this next move is not small. It carries eternal weight, spiritual significance, and generational impact. I'm not trying to frighten you. I'm trying to awaken you. What you choose next will shape more than your circumstances. It will shape your destiny, your alignment, your spiritual path forward. And I want you to choose from a place of peace, not panic. From conviction, not confusion. From wisdom, not weariness. You have been standing at a crossroads without even fully realizing it. You sense pressure but can't identify its source. You feel urgency, but don't know why. You feel pulled in multiple directions, torn between what is comfortable and what is calling you. That is because your next move has the power to shift the entire trajectory of your life. I am preparing you for a step that leads into purpose, into clarity, into a deeper walk with me. But I do not want you to make this move on impulse. I want you to move with intention, divinely guided intention. Your decisions have always mattered, but this one carries more weight because it aligns with something I have been building in your life for years. You've been walking through seasons of preparation without knowing what they were preparing you for. You've endured situations that shaped your character, strengthened your resilience, deepened your sensitivity to my voice. And now you stand on the threshold of a moment that will reveal the purpose behind much of what you've endured. Your next move is connected to answered prayers, prayers you forgot you prayed, prayers you thought were denied, prayers you whispered when no one else was around. I don't want you to fear making the wrong choice. I want you to understand the sacredness of making the right one with me. So instead of rushing, breathe. Instead of worrying, listen. Instead of assuming, lean closer to my voice. I am not distant. I am not silent. I am not leaving you to figure this out alone. I will guide you, steady you, and cover you as you step. You don't have to predict the outcome. You only have to trust the one who already sees it. Let this awareness humble you, strengthen you, and anchor you. For when you finally take that step, you will feel my presence go before you, beside you, and behind you. And you will realize that this move, this one, changes everything. Slow down, my child, because what I am building within you in this very moment is too important to be hurried. You live in a world that rewards speed, productivity, constant movement, constant striving, constant doing. But my kingdom does not operate in the frantic tempo of human anxiety. I am not rushing you. I am not pushing you. I am preparing you. And what I am strengthening inside you cannot be microwaved, cannot be forced, cannot be rushed without weakening the foundation I am laying. I know you feel the pressure to act, the impulse to fix, the desire to resolve everything quickly so your heart can stop feeling uncertain. But if you rush this part of your story, you will miss the deeper transformation I am trying to complete in you. You are in a season where I am fortifying your discernment, sharpening your spiritual hearing, stabilizing your emotional footing, and building a strength you will need for the places you are about to walk into. This strengthening is not punishment. It is preparation. It is me equipping you with internal resilience so that your next season does not break you. Do you not realize that some of the things you are praying for require a stronger version of you? Not a busy you, not a more exhausted you, a stronger, wiser, grounded you. And that is what I am creating within this pause. If I allowed you to move too soon, you would carry old habits into new environments. You would bring old fears into new opportunities. You would step into blessings without the inner capacity to sustain them. So I am slowing you intentionally, not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. Every delay has purpose. Every quiet moment has meaning. Every time doors remain closed, it is because I am strengthening what must be strong before the next door opens. I am teaching you patience, not the kind that simply waits, but the kind that trusts. Patience that understands timing. Patience that learns to breathe even when clarity hasn't arrived yet. Patience that becomes strength instead of frustration. You may think nothing is happening, but so much is happening. In the unseen places of your spirit, I am building endurance. I am refining your faith. I am expanding your capacity. I am breaking off the exhaustion that has clouded your decisions. I am healing old wounds that would have sabotaged your future. And I am anchoring you in my presence so deeply that when the moment comes to move, you won't hesitate. You'll recognize my voice instantly and step with confidence. So do not rush this part of the journey. Let the strengthening happen. Let the transformation root deeply. Let patience become your teacher. For when this strengthening is complete, you will rise from this pause with a clarity, a courage, and a conviction you have never known before. And then, you will move and nothing will stop you. Feel this moment, my child, because you are not standing in the middle of your journey anymore. You are standing at the edge of a threshold that leads into a completely new chapter of your life. You may not recognize it with your physical eyes, but spiritually, you are standing in the doorway of something I have long been preparing for you. This threshold is a holy place, a dividing line between what has been and what will be, and I am inviting you to become aware of where your feet are positioned. You sense it, that subtle trembling inside you, that stretch in your spirit, that quiet awareness that life is shifting even if you can't see the full picture yet. This threshold is not just symbolic. It is deeply spiritual. It is the place where old identities break off, where old cycles lose their authority, where old fears no longer dictate your steps, and where my plans begin to unfold in ways that will surprise you with their beauty and precision. You've walked through seasons that felt repetitive, draining, or confusing, and you wondered why things didn't change sooner. But thresholds are not entered through impatience. They are reached through preparation. All the moments where you felt delayed were actually me aligning your heart so that when you reached this doorway, you would recognize it. Every hardship softened something in you. Every waiting season strengthened something in you. Every disappointment uncovered something in you. And now, all of that inner work has brought you here, standing on the edge of what I am about to open. You do not stand at this threshold alone. I am here with you, my presence surrounding you like light wrapped around a dawn you cannot yet see. And though you feel the pull of the familiar behind you and the uncertainty of the unknown before you, I am calling your attention to the promise that stands on the other side. The threshold is a place of tension, yes, but it is also a place of destiny. The decisions you make here will ripple out into your future. And I want you to step forward not with fear, but with faith. Not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. For I have brought you to this doorway, and I will not let you walk through it unprepared. Let your heart take this in. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. You are not stuck. You are positioned. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And this threshold you stand before is not just the beginning of something new. It is the end of something that no longer fits you. Let yourself breathe deeply here. Feel my nearness and know that when it is time to step through, you will not step through alone. Even now, while you wonder what comes next, I am moving in places your eyes cannot reach, aligning pieces of your life with a precision only I can orchestrate. You have been praying for clarity, for direction, for assurance, and though you do not yet see the answers, I want you to know that I am already arranging them. Behind the scenes, beyond your awareness, beyond your understanding, I am working in the realms you cannot access. I am softening hearts, shifting circumstances, repositioning relationships, opening hidden pathways and closing harmful ones. I am aligning events in ways that will soon reveal the beauty of my craftsmanship over your life. Nothing I do is random. Nothing I prepare for you is right. Nothing I arrange is without purpose. You may feel like nothing is happening, but so much is happening. This is the quiet construction season, where I build what you will one day walk into. And just because you cannot see the blueprint does not mean the structure isn't being formed. I am aligning things in your favor. I am aligning opportunities with your timing. I am aligning strength with your purpose. I am aligning resources with your calling. I am aligning people with your next chapter. What looks like stillness to you is actually divine movement to me. You trust me with what you see, but now I am teaching you to trust me with what you cannot. Sometimes you grow anxious because you think delays mean something is wrong, or silence means I am absent. But no. Silence often means building, and delay often means protection. You do not see the things I kept from you. You do not know the plans of the enemy I dismantled before they ever touched your life. You do not realize how many dangers I diverted, how many traps I collapsed, how many tears I caught before they fell. My alignment is not just about blessing you. It is about safeguarding you. You will one day look back and realize that everything I aligned was timed perfectly, positioned perfectly, and revealed perfectly. So trust this hidden work. Trust the alignment happening in the background of your life. Trust that where you are today is not the full story, only the hinge point. And soon, the unseen will become seen, and you will understand why I needed you to wait while I arranged every detail with divine accuracy. Stay close to me, for alignment always precedes breakthrough, and your breakthrough is already on its way. I see the quiet battles you fight in the secret places of your thoughts, the ones no one else knows about, the ones you force yourself to push through while pretending you are fine. You carry storms inside your mind that you never speak of. Waves of doubt, winds of fear, whispers of insecurity. And you wonder if anyone truly understands the struggles you hide behind your calm exterior. But I do. I have been present for every internal conflict, every mental exhaustion, every moment where your thoughts race faster than your peace could catch them. I know the lies that try to attach themselves to your identity, the fears that tell you you're not enough, the imaginations that leap to worst-case scenarios. And I know how hard you fight to silence them, even when it feels like the battle only grows louder. Your mind is a battlefield, and I am not judging you for the war happening within you. I am fighting with you. I am standing in the midst of the mental noise, speaking truth into the places where fear tries to shape your decisions. I am reminding you that not every thought deserves your agreement. Not every fear deserves your attention. Not every lie deserves your belief. And I am teaching you how to separate my voice from the clamor of anxiety. You have been trying to win this battle with your own strength, but I never asked you to. I ask you to let me be your peace, your shield, your sanity. There are thoughts you have carried for too long, old wounds replaying themselves, old mistakes condemning you, old fears haunting you. And I am telling you now, this pause is where those battles begin to break. For I am guiding you into clarity, pulling you out of mental exhaustion, calming the storms in your thoughts. You are not losing your mind. You are being renewed. You are not failing. You are being reshaped. What feels like inner chaos is actually the shaking of old patterns losing their power over you. The enemy has tried to make your mind a prison, but I am turning it into a sanctuary of truth, peace, and discernment. You don't have to fight these thoughts alone. I am here. I am with you. I am for you. And I will give you the strength to recognize my voice above every other voice in your mind. Soon, the storms will quiet. Soon, the confusion will lift. Soon, the clarity will come. But for now, rest in this truth. I know the battle in your mind, and I am not intimidated by it. I am healing you through it. Do not mistake my silence for absence, nor my timing for neglect, because what you call delay, I call protection, and I have been shielding you from things you were never meant to walk into. You have felt the frustration of waiting, the tension of unanswered prayers, the ache of plans that seemed to stall, and the sting of opportunities that slipped through your fingers. You wondered if you misheard me, misunderstood me, or somehow stepped out of alignment without knowing it. But hear me clearly in this sacred moment. I have not withheld anything good from you. I have only withheld what would have harmed you, drained you, distracted you, or derailed you. The closed doors you mourn were doors I closed with my own hand, because on the other side of them were burdens disguised as blessings and traps disguised as chances. I saw what you could not see. I knew what you could not know. And though the waiting wounded your expectations, it preserved your destiny. I am not cruel with time. I am careful with it. I use it like a shield, like a covering, like a barrier to guard you from premature steps and unnecessary heartbreaks. There were people you longed for that I removed because they would have dimmed your light, drained your spirit, or pulled you away from the path I designed for you. There were jobs you thought you needed that would have buried your gifts. There were relationships you pleaded for that would have sabotaged your joy. There were opportunities you begged to keep that would have anchored you in places too small for the calling on your life. You see delay as stagnation, but I see it as a sanctuary, the place where I hold your future safely until your present is ready to receive it. And I know you questioned me. I know you wondered why answers took so long, why the path was not straighter, why the process felt slow and winding. But hear me. Protection rarely feels like protection in the moment. It feels like denial. It feels like disappointment. It feels like confusion. Only when you look back will you realize that my refusals were actually my rescue. My withholding was actually my wisdom. My pause was actually my shield wrapped around you. So breathe here. Rest here. Trust that I am never late. Never careless, never hesitant. If something has not happened yet, it is because it is not the time for it, or because I have something infinitely better. I am not delaying your life. I am safeguarding it. And soon, the same doors that once stayed shut will be replaced by ones that swing wide with ease, because they will finally be the doors meant for you. Listen closely, because what lies ahead of you is too great, too sacred, too weighty for the version of you that carried yesterday's fears. I am forming a different kind of strength within you. Not the kind of strength that comes from pushing yourself beyond your limits, nor the kind that pretends to be fine while breaking inside, nor the kind built on survival and constant endurance. That kind of strength served you once, but it is not the strength your future requires. Your next season needs a strength that is rooted, calm, steady, discerning, spiritually grounded, and emotionally anchored. A strength that doesn't crumble under pressure. A strength that doesn't panic when the path isn't clear. A strength that doesn't rely on adrenaline, fear, or self-preservation. A strength that rises from trust, deep, unwavering trust in me. You have been through seasons that drained you, seasons that tested you, seasons that shaped you without your permission. And you wondered why. You wondered why you had to walk through such intensity, why certain battles lingered, why certain wounds stung longer than others, why certain lessons repeated themselves. And it is because the strength your destiny requires could not be built any other way. Strength is not formed in comfort. Strength is not formed in ease. Strength is not formed in the absence of resistance. Strength is formed in the unseen places where you chose faith instead of fear, perseverance instead of surrender, resilience instead of bitterness. But do not misunderstand me. I am not hardening you. I am fortifying you. I am not stripping you of softness. I am making your softness unbreakable. I am not making you self-sufficient. I am teaching you to lean on me in ways that produce supernatural courage. You think you are merely healing from the past, but you are actually being equipped for the future. You think you are simply recovering from battles, but you are actually being prepared for victories. The strength I am forming in you now will carry you through doors that require maturity, wisdom, and depth. You may feel stretched, challenged, or uncomfortable, but that discomfort is not punishment, it is preparation. I am enlarging your capacity, expanding your spirit, deepening your endurance, sharpening your perception. And when the next season arrives, and it will, you will step into it and realize that every painful moment shaped a strength you didn't know you needed. The future I have prepared for you is too powerful for a fragile foundation. So I am building you, layer by layer, truth by truth, moment by moment, into someone who can carry blessing without breaking, walk in purpose without shrinking, and stand in calling without fear. Let me draw your attention inward, because something significant is happening beneath the surface of your emotions. Your faith is being stretched in ways you have not fully recognized. You've been feeling an unusual tension in your spirit, a tug that doesn't quite make sense, an internal shift that leaves you unsure of what to expect next. This sensation often feels uncomfortable, and you may assume it signals something negative or unstable. Yet what you are experiencing is the deliberate expansion of your faith. I am guiding you into a deeper reliance on me, and this requires space within your heart that old fears, assumptions, and limitations once occupied. The unfamiliar pressure you feel is the making of that space. Faith grows through movement, not stagnation, and there are moments when its growth requires you to step beyond familiar boundaries. You have reached a point in your journey where the level of trust that once supported you cannot sustain the path that lies ahead. Earlier seasons called for belief on one scale, but this next chapter requires a stronger, steadier, more confident posture. You may find yourself questioning decisions, sensing areas where control is slipping from your hands, or facing uncertainties you cannot solve through logic alone. These experiences are not evidence of weakness. They are part of the process through which I strengthen the core of who you are. Your heart is learning how to lean into my presence without relying on predictable outcomes. Your spirit is learning how to feel secure even when clarity hasn't arrived. Your mind is learning how to rest even when answers are not available. Growth rarely arrives through ease. Faith increases when comfort decreases, because it reaches past the borders of your understanding and touches the places where my wisdom becomes your guide. This expansion doesn't require loud displays of courage. It forms during quiet, vulnerable moments when you whisper your trust despite not knowing what tomorrow holds. That whisper carries more spiritual weight than you realize. It reshapes your inner framework, strengthens your resilience, and allows you to walk forward without being captured by anxiety. This transformation may feel subtle, yet it is profound. You are evolving in ways that prepare you for promises you are not able to see yet. The stretching of your faith also reshapes how you interpret delays, challenges, and unexpected detours. What once felt discouraging begins to feel purposeful. What once felt threatening becomes an invitation. What once felt overwhelming shifts into an opportunity for deeper alignment. Through this process, you gain a wider capacity for hope, a clearer understanding of my character, and a steadier confidence in who you are becoming with me. Every moment of uncertainty you face now is forming strength that will support your future responsibilities, relationships, and assignments. I am preparing you for paths that carry greater meaning, and your growth must match the weight of what I am giving you. You are not being stretched to the point of breaking. You are being stretched to the point of becoming. Your faith is entering maturity. And throughout this entire process, I am near, guiding you gently, speaking to you quietly, and shaping you carefully so that, in time, you will see that this season was not a disruption. It was a transformation. Allow my words to settle into you, because the guidance you have been longing for has never gone unnoticed. You've poured out questions in quiet places, many of them formed in moments when your heart felt stretched thin, and your understanding could not keep up with the decisions before you. You've asked me where to go, when to move, how to choose, and what to release. Some of those prayers were spoken with strength, while others rose from exhaustion that left you wondering if I heard any of it. I listened to every word, each sigh, each whisper, each unspoken concern that drifted through your spirit when you didn't have the energy to form sentences. Nothing you've brought to me has been ignored. The longing for direction itself is evidence that your heart is ready to align with what I am preparing. Your desire to follow my leading shows maturity, even if you feel uncertain about each step. You may sense that answers have been slow, but the pace you're experiencing is intentional. Guidance requires timing because a direction delivered outside of its appointed moment becomes confusion rather than clarity. I have been protecting you from decisions made under pressure or fear. I have been waiting until the noise inside you softened enough for my voice to rise without competition. This kind of guidance forms in layers rather than instant flashes. I have been shaping your vision so you can recognize the path I am placing before you. Your heart needed space to let go of old expectations, outdated assumptions, and the weight of options that were never tied to your purpose. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being positioned to discern direction with depth rather than impulse. There are details you could not see earlier because certain pieces were still falling into place. Some opportunities needed to close. Certain relationships needed time to reveal their true influence. Unhealthy attachments required loosening. Strength within you needed room to develop so that you could respond with wisdom instead of worry. While you felt stationary, preparation was occurring around you. I have been arranging conditions that will allow your next step to unfold with confidence, not hesitation. This is how direction functions when I am involved. It works through alignment rather than chance. You have reached a moment where clarity will begin to rise gradually, much like the first light on a horizon. It will overwhelm you or demand frantic action. It will feel natural, steady, and unmistakably right. When the time arrives for you to move, your spirit will sense peace that does not waver. What once felt scattered will begin to form a coherent path. You will recognize my voice shaping your choices, and your heart will understand the answers you once tried to force. Nothing hath been wasted, not your prayers, not your waiting, not your longing. You asked me for direction, and I am leading you with purpose that flows far beyond the confusion you once felt. Let your attention shift inward, because something profound is awakening in the way you listen to me. Recent seasons may have felt filled with noise, external demands, internal pressure, emotional heaviness, and the pace of life pulling you in several directions at once. All of that activity made it difficult for your spirit to distinguish my voice from your thoughts, your worries, or the expectations of others. You didn't lose the ability to hear me. Rather, your heart became cluttered by the constant movement around you. Listening requires more than silence. It requires space, and space is what I have been creating within you through this pause. You might not realize yet how deeply this change is taking root. Your inner awareness is becoming sharper, calmer, and more open to subtle guidance. Over time, you've begun to pay attention to impressions you once overlooked, moments of stillness you previously rushed through, and gentle nudges that once felt easy to dismiss. These shifts mark the return of spiritual sensitivity. I am teaching you how to recognize my presence without demanding signs or dramatic confirmations. The ability to listen develops gradually, and the process often begins by removing distractions that once consumed your energy. That removal can feel unsettling at first, especially when it involves stepping back from habits or voices you relied on. Yet every adjustment has been part of clearing the internal pathways needed for you to hear me with clarity. As you learn to listen again, you will notice changes in how you approach decisions. You will pause instead of reacting. You will reflect instead of assuming. You will wait instead of forcing. These adjustments aren't hesitation. They are discernment forming within you. The ability to hear me is becoming integrated into your everyday moments rather than reserved for crisis or confusion. You're discovering how my guidance often arrives as a quiet assurance rather than a sudden directive. This shift will help you trust me with greater ease, because your spirit will recognize my tone, my pace, and my peace. Listening becomes easier when you understand that I never speak to shame, frighten, or pressure you. My voice leads with steadiness, not anxiety. It brings perspective rather than chaos. When you sense calm, purpose, or understanding rising gently within you, those are the echoes of my presence. Listening is becoming not just something you do, but something you live. Through this process, your relationship with me deepens. You stop searching for dramatic signs and start noticing the quiet movements of my guidance. This renewed sensitivity will shape your choices, soften your reactions, and guide your next steps. You are learning to listen again, and this restoration will influence every part of your journey. Pay attention to what is unfolding within you, because a deeper spiritual awareness is emerging, and it is transforming how you experience my presence. Your spirit has been gradually awakening in ways you might not fully understand yet. Situations that once felt indifferent now stir reflection. Conversations that once passed by without meaning now cause your heart to respond. Moments that once felt ordinary now carry gentle promptings that guide you toward wisdom. These changes are not random. They are signs that your spirit is aligning with me in a more intimate way. Sensitivity to my presence develops through quiet awareness, and your heart has been entering that space more freely as old distractions lose their influence. As your spirit becomes more attuned to me, you may notice shifts in what brings you peace and what no longer feels right. Environments that drained you start revealing their true effect. Choices that once felt comfortable begin to show their limitations. Desires that previously held your attention lose their appeal. This is the refinement of your inner compass. You are being drawn toward what nourishes you and away from what diminishes you. The process may feel subtle at times, yet it is creating a deeper connection between your soul and my guidance. Sensitivity forms through attention, and your heart has been giving me more room to speak into areas where you once felt guarded or overwhelmed. This growing awareness will change the way you move through your days. You will sense when to pause before responding. You will understand when a direction carries peace rather than pressure. You will recognize hesitation within you and know it is a signal worth exploring, not ignoring. Your intuition will strengthen because it is no longer shaped by fear but influenced by my presence. As this sensitivity increases, decisions that once felt complicated become clearer. Your inner world becomes calmer. The noise that ruled your thoughts becomes easier to identify and release. You begin to understand the difference between impulse and guidance. The closeness you are experiencing is the result of your willingness to slow down, breathe, and remain open to my movements. You may not always understand the full meaning behind each subtle impression, but you will feel the difference between alignment and misalignment. This is the gift of spiritual sensitivity. It helps you recognize my peace before you see the outcome, my presence before you see the result, and my leading before you know the destination. Your spirit is growing stronger, steadier, and more connected. This development prepares you for the choices ahead, ensuring that your next steps flow from awareness rather than guesswork. You are becoming more sensitive to me, and this awakening will guide you with increasing clarity as your journey continues. Let me draw your awareness to the quiet release happening inside you, because something within you has begun to loosen its grip on what once felt necessary but no longer aligns with who you are becoming. This shift may feel unfamiliar, and at times it may stir a sense of loss or uncertainty, yet it is guided by my hand. You have grown beyond certain patterns, relationships, and expectations that once shaped your choices. Your spirit has been signaling that some attachments no longer support the future I am leading you toward. What you carried in earlier seasons helped you survive, understand yourself, and navigate unfamiliar terrain, but that season has served its purpose. You have reached a point where old motivations feel heavy instead of inspiring, and familiar habits no longer feel supportive. This experience doesn't mean failure, it reflects transformation. Your identity is evolving, and part of that evolution involves releasing what cannot accompany you into the next chapter. Letting go is rarely comfortable. Your heart may try to understand why certain desires have faded or why certain connections feel different. You may wonder whether you are abandoning something meaningful or stepping away too early. Yet the inner release you feel is not impulsive. It is the natural movement of your spirit responding to the pull of my guidance. I have been gently loosening your attachment to roles and expectations that diminished your peace. Certain perspectives that once felt safe now feel restrictive because you have outgrown the limitations they carried. You may not recognize this as progress, but it is evidence of your spirit becoming more aligned with my intentions. This release is clearing space within you. Emotional weight is lifting. Internal pressure is easing. The need to prove yourself is dissolving. You are beginning to understand that purpose is not sustained by striving. It grows in environments that support clarity, courage, and authenticity. When you let go of what drains you, you gain strength for what invites you. When you distance yourself from what no longer resonates, you create room for relationships and opportunities that nurture your true calling. The space opening inside you will soon be filled by what is meant to help you flourish. But that space cannot exist until the unnecessary weight is lifted. Your spirit is responding correctly to this transition. You are not abandoning your responsibilities or ignoring your values. You are honoring the growth happening inside you. The release you feel is not the end of something valuable. It is the beginning of alignment. You are making space for clarity that will shape your next decisions with greater confidence. I am guiding you through this process with care, ensuring that nothing essential is lost and nothing burdensome remains. Letting go prepares the soil of your heart for what comes next, and what I am planting in you requires room to take root. Trust this shift. Trust the freedom forming within you. Trust that what remains will support your purpose and what leaves will create space for blessings that fit who you are becoming. Allow your attention to settle on the insights rising within you, because I am uncovering truth about the intentions of those who walk near you. This revelation may feel unsettling at first, especially if it challenges the assumptions you carried about certain individuals. You might sense changes in your relationships, subtle shifts in tone, unexpected distance, or new clarity regarding patterns you once overlooked. These insights are not meant to create suspicion or fear. They are meant to guide you. Your heart has matured, and your spirit has become more discerning. I am allowing you to see beyond appearances, beyond charm, beyond surface-level connections. This vision is a gift that protects your peace and strengthens your direction. It is natural to feel surprised when someone's intentions become clear. You may discover that certain people support you only when it benefits them, or rely on you without offering reciprocity. Others may carry genuine care yet lack the capacity to walk closely with you in the season ahead. Some may have contributed positively in previous stages of your life, but are no longer aligned with the growth happening within you. I am not exposing these motives to create division. I am inviting you to walk in wisdom. Understanding where each person stands helps you steward your emotional energy with greater intention. When motives become visible, relationships shift. Some become deeper and more meaningful. Others fade naturally as you recognize they cannot support your purpose. These transitions allow you to invest in people who uplift your direction rather than distract you from it. I am guiding you to recognize loyalty, integrity, humility, and sincerity in those who truly value your presence. At the same time, I am helping you notice manipulation, hidden agendas, or emotional burdens that hinder your spirit. Seeing the truth clearly gives you the power to interact with grace while guarding your heart with wisdom. This process does not ask you to sever relationships harshly. It invites you to place each connection in its proper place. Some may remain close. Others may shift to a healthy distance. A few may leave entirely. Each adjustment supports your peace. Your spirit is becoming more aware of how people influence your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. I am shaping that awareness so your journey is not weighed down by unhealthy attachments or misguided trust. You are not being punished with disillusionment. You are being equipped with discernment. Recognizing motives ensures that your inner circle reflects alignment with the path before you. It ensures that your next steps are supported by people who encourage your growth rather than drain your strength. Trust what you are seeing. Trust the clarity forming within you. Trust that I am guiding this revelation for your good. Notice the internal shift that keeps guiding you away from routines and responses that once felt predictable, because I am pulling you out of patterns that no longer reflect who you are becoming. These patterns may have provided comfort or stability in earlier seasons, yet they have gradually lost their ability to support your growth. You felt the discomfort of repeating behaviors that no longer match your values. You've experienced frustration when old habits resurface without offering relief. You've sensed your spirit resisting choices that once felt automatic. This resistance signals transformation. It shows that your heart recognizes the difference between survival and purpose. You're not losing consistency. You're gaining clarity. Patterns often form from experience, fear, obligation, or routine. Some were created to protect you during difficult times. Others helped you navigate situations that required immediate adaptation. Those seasons demanded certain responses, but your current season calls for something different. You are evolving beyond the limitations of those old behaviors. When a pattern stops aligning with your inner truth, the discomfort you feel is a sign that your spirit is maturing. You may not have words for it, but you can sense that you're meant to step into new rhythms, new perspectives, and new ways of living. That sense is accurate. I am guiding you into a healthier expression of who you truly are. Shifting away from old patterns can feel unsettling because familiarity often feels safer than growth. You may feel uncertain as you step out of behaviors you've relied on for years. You may hesitate, wondering if you're capable of change. Yet the pull you feel is not pressure, it is guidance. I am drawing you toward a life that reflects strength rather than reaction, purpose rather than repetition, awareness rather than instinct. The more you lean into this shift, the clearer your decisions become. Certain triggers lose their power. Emotional habits weaken, but patterns give way to healthier perspectives. Your journey is entering a phase where your internal responses begin to align with your spiritual alignment. You will begin to notice how your words, actions, boundaries, and choices reflect a more grounded sense of identity. This change might be gradual, but it is deep. As you step away from old patterns, you create room for healthier ones, patterns strengthened by peace, clarity, and confidence. This transition is shaping you into someone who moves with intention, not reaction. I am not pulling you out of these patterns to unsettle you. I am pulling you out so you can rise into a version of yourself that carries the wisdom gained from your past without being controlled by it. Your life is shifting toward alignment, and each step away from old habits brings you closer to the purpose I placed within you. Turn your attention inward for a moment, because something deep within you is changing, and this shift is reshaping how you see yourself and how you understand your place in the world. You have carried versions of yourself formed through years of expectations, responsibilities, disappointments, and survival. Much of your identity developed during seasons when you had to adapt quickly, protect yourself emotionally, and fit into environments that didn't fully honor who you were created to become. Those earlier versions served a purpose, yet they no longer match the direction I am leading you. The uneasiness you felt lately, the sense of outgrowing old roles, old labels, old behaviors, comes from this transformation. Parts of you that were shaped by fear, scarcity, or the desire to be accepted are dissolving so that a truer, stronger identity can emerge. This shift is subtle but powerful, like dawn slowly brightening the horizon before the sun rises. You are stepping into a clearer understanding of your worth. You're beginning to sense that you no longer need validation from places that previously held influence over your decisions. Your spirit is recognizing its own strength, and your heart is realizing that certain insecurities no longer hold authority over your choices. As this identity shift unfolds, you may notice moments where you respond differently, more confidently, more calmly, more authentically. These moments are not accidents. They reflect the foundation I am establishing within you. Identity is not shaped instantly. It forms through gradual awakenings. You are beginning to recognize the difference between who you were and who you are becoming, and that awareness is sacred. This transformation may bring tension because letting go of old identities also means stepping away from patterns or relationships built around them. People who were familiar with earlier versions of you may not understand this change. You may feel caught between honoring your past and embracing your future. Yet this shift is part of your growth, not a dismissal of your history. Every stage of your life contributed to your development, and nothing has been wasted. What is happening now is an integration of strength, wisdom, and clarity that will allow you to move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. You're entering a season where you will speak differently about yourself, pursue goals that align with your calling, and carry yourself with confidence that comes from my presence within you. This identity shift isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unveiling who you've always been beneath the layers of fear and pressure. You are stepping into alignment with the identity I envisioned for you long before your challenges shaped your self-perception. Allow this shift to unfold gently. Let your spirit expand into it without rushing. Trust that each moment of clarity is guiding you into a deeper recognition of your true self, strong, capable, grounded, and aligned with my purpose for your life. Pay close attention to the change happening in your inner world, because a renewal of strength is rising within you in ways you may not fully recognize yet. You have walked through seasons that drained your energy, dulled your motivation, and stretched your resilience. Weariness settled into places where confidence once lived, and even simple decisions felt heavy. That fatigue made you question your endurance, your direction, and at times even your purpose. Yet beneath all of that, renewal has been quietly forming. Your strength is not returning in the same form it once held. It is becoming more refined, measured, stable, and intentional. I am restoring the parts of you that felt depleted and building new endurance that will support the next phase of your journey. You may sense moments where you feel lighter without knowing why, or renewed clarity rising where confusion once lingered. These moments come from the restoration I've been shaping in your heart. Renewal doesn't always arrive as sudden energy. Sometimes it begins with simple calm. You are learning to breathe again without rushing. You are allowing yourself to rest without guilt. You are finding grace in your own pace. These shifts may go unnoticed at first, but they signal a spiritual strengthening that will influence your decisions, your relationships, and your vision. Old forms of strength relied heavily on survival instincts, pushing through, ignoring your own needs, and carrying everything on your own. That structure served you when life demanded endurance, but the future I'm leading you into requires a different approach. Renewal forms through balance, not burnout. It emerges through peace, not pressure. As this strength grows, you will find yourself responding with clarity in moments where fear once dictated your reactions. You will notice that emotional triggers lose their hold and that challenges no longer drain you as quickly. Your resilience is becoming rooted in a deeper understanding of my presence rather than the weight of your circumstances. This renewed strength will help you make choices from a grounded perspective rather than survival mode. It will enable you to maintain boundaries without guilt, pursue goals without fear, and walk into opportunities without shrinking. What I am restoring within you goes beyond motivation. It is a transformation of your mental, emotional, and spiritual capacity. You are learning to stand with steady confidence, knowing that you no longer carry everything alone. This renewal is a gift, not a demand. Allow it to grow. Allow it to nurture every part of your being. Allow it to prepare you for the steps ahead, because the strength that is rising within you will sustain you far better than the strength you once relied on. Look closely at the shifts happening inside you, because fear that once shaped your decisions is beginning to loosen its hold, and this release is transforming the way you move through life. There were times when fear influenced your choices more than you realized. It made you hesitate when opportunities appeared, second-guess your instincts, and cling to familiar habits even when they restricted your growth. Fear shaped your expectations and tinted your perspective with caution, making the unknown feel threatening rather than promising. Those responses were understandable given what you walked through, but they are not meant to define your future. You are stepping into a season where fear no longer controls your direction, and this change is becoming evident in the subtle shifts of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. You may notice moments where your heart stays calm in situations that once created anxiety. You may find yourself considering possibilities that felt too risky before. You may sense a willingness to move forward without needing to predict every outcome. These changes reflect the loosening of fear's influence. As your spirit strengthens, fear has fewer places to anchor itself. As clarity builds, fear struggles to distort your vision. As confidence rises, fear loses its ability to overshadow your decisions. This release doesn't mean you'll never feel uncertainty again. It means uncertainty is no longer steering your steps. Fear often hides behind familiarity, convincing you that comfort is safer than growth. It whispers that change will cost you too much, that failure is inevitable, or that you are not equipped for the next chapter. Those messages are fading because your spirit is recognizing truth more quickly than before. You are becoming more aware of when fear tries to shape your choices, and that awareness weakens its influence. As your discernment sharpens, your decisions reflect faith rather than avoidance. The transformation is not forced. It unfolds through quiet courage forming inside you. The release of fear creates space for new qualities to flourish: curiosity, possibility, readiness, resilience. You begin to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your stability. You start imagining outcomes shaped by hope instead of dread. You allow yourself to trust that I am guiding your steps even when the path isn't visible. This shift empowers you to move forward with clarity and strength. What once intimidated you becomes manageable. What once overwhelmed you becomes navigable. What once held you back loses its influence completely. Fear is losing its grip on you because I am strengthening the parts of you that were once vulnerable to its voice. You are becoming more grounded, more confident, and more aligned with the identity I'm shaping within you. As fear fades, courage rises, not the loud, forceful kind, but a steady confidence that allows you to walk forward without shrinking. This freedom is the beginning of a new way of living, one that will guide your next decisions with clarity and assurance. Let your heart notice the gentle lift happening inside you, because I am restoring hope in places where discouragement once settled without resistance. You've walked through experiences that slowly drain your sense of possibility, leaving you unsure whether certain dreams were still reachable or whether waiting had gone on for too long. Disappointment can dim hope quietly, turning bright expectations into faint memories. You may not have realized how much this affected you until recently, when you sensed a subtle longing returning, an interest in imagining new outcomes, a curiosity about what could still unfold, a quiet optimism rising without being forced. This shift is not accidental. I have been breathing life into the areas of your spirit that once felt tired from trying. Hope is returning not as a fragile wish but as a steady anticipation rooted in the work I'm doing within you. This renewal may feel different from previous forms of hope you carried. Earlier hope was often tied to specific outcomes or timelines, creating pressure that made you feel responsible for manifesting results. What is forming in you now is a deeper, steadier hope, one that doesn't depend on your efforts alone but grows from a trust that I am moving on your behalf. This kind of hope doesn't fluctuate with circumstances. It creates space for patience, faith, and clarity. You may notice you're becoming more open to possibilities you once dismissed. You may feel small flickers of inspiration where you once felt numb. These shifts reflect healing taking place far beneath what you show outwardly. As your hope strengthens, your perspective begins to change. Challenges that once looked final now appear as temporary steps. Closed doors no longer feel like rejection but redirection. Delays don't stir panic in the same way because something inside you has begun to trust that timing carries purpose. You might even notice your imagination stretching again, not through unrealistic fantasies, but through a renewed ability to believe that good can still find you. This refreshed hope doesn't deny your past, it grows from it. Every moment of endurance has matured you. Every setback has taught you resilience. Now those experiences are becoming fertile ground for hope that is wiser, deeper, and more stable than before. I am guiding this renewal gently. Hope grows best when pressure is removed, so I am lifting the emotional weight that made you feel responsible for everything working out perfectly. I am restoring the part of your heart that dared to believe beyond logic. I am helping you recognize that new beginnings are still possible, even in places you once considered settled. Your hope is not returning so you can chase unrealistic expectations. It's returning so you can walk confidently into what I am preparing for you. This refreshed hope will anchor your next steps, allowing you to move forward with courage and anticipation rather than fear or resignation. Trust what is awakening inside you. It's the beginning of a renewed vision for your life. Allow yourself to notice the clarity rising within you, because truth is beginning to speak louder than the lies that once shaped how you viewed yourself and your future. Many of the beliefs you struggled with did not form overnight. They developed through difficult experiences, harsh words, past failures, or seasons where discouragement overshadowed your discernment. Over time, those influences created internal narratives that distorted your sense of worth and direction. Some of these narratives told you that you weren't enough, that you were too late, that opportunities had passed you by, or that mistakes defined your limitations. These lies blended into your thoughts so quietly that you mistook them for truth. Yet your spirit never fully accepted them, which is why you felt tension whenever those thoughts resurfaced. A shift is occurring now. You're becoming more aware of the difference between thoughts rooted in fear and those rooted in calm understanding. You're beginning to feel the contrast between internal pressure and internal peace. This awareness is not random. It is part of the transformation I've been guiding. Truth is rising within you like light seeping into a dim room, making it harder for old lies to hide. You may feel moments where your mind challenges assumptions you once accepted easily. You might sense a new confidence forming when you consider your gifts, your path, or your value. These transformations are signs that truth is gaining influence while false beliefs loosen their hold. As truth strengthens, emotional clarity follows. You begin to see that past failures do not define your potential. You understand that delays do not equal denial. You recognize that you are allowed to grow, change, and begin again. Truth provides freedom, not freedom from challenges, but freedom from distorted interpretations of them. You may even notice that conversations or experiences that once triggered insecurity now bring insight instead. Your mind is being retrained. Your heart is being recalibrated. The internal landscape that once felt heavy is becoming clearer. This process is steady and intentional, reshaping not just your thoughts, but your overall approach to life. This clarity will influence every decision you make moving forward. You will choose relationships from a healthier perspective. You will pursue goals with a balanced mindset. You will trust yourself more fully because you will recognize which thoughts belong to fear and which belong to truth. I am not forcing you to change how you think. I am guiding you toward clarity that empowers your spirit. Truth is becoming your natural internal language, and lies are losing their authority. As this continues, you will move forward with a confidence that feels grounded rather than inflated, peaceful rather than pressured. Trust this inner clarity. It is guiding you toward alignment with who you truly are. Take a moment to recognize the shift happening in your perspective, because your vision is sharpening in areas that once felt blurred or overwhelming. You spent seasons trying to understand your path, often feeling as though you were piecing together fragments without seeing the full picture. You worked through confusion, uncertainty, and emotional fog that made decision-making difficult. Every step felt heavy because you were trying to move without clarity. Yet something has been changing gradually. Insights that once felt distant now feel accessible. Goals that seemed scattered are beginning to connect. You may not have noticed the full extent of this transformation, but your vision is developing a clarity that wasn't present before. This clarity is not arriving in dramatic flashes. It is forming through steady moments of awareness, subtle realizations, shifts in your priorities, and an increased ability to evaluate what aligns with your spirit. You may find yourself reconsidering choices you once pursued out of pressure or insecurity. You may notice new possibilities forming in areas where hope once felt faint. You may discover a stronger sense of direction when weighing decisions that previously created doubt. These changes reflect the inner work happening within you. Your spirit is aligning with the direction I'm guiding you toward, and your vision is adjusting accordingly. Clear vision doesn't remove uncertainty, but it helps you understand where to place your focus. You begin to differentiate distractions from purpose. You become more aware of which opportunities nourish you and which drain you. Your intuition sharpens, allowing you to sense when a direction feels right or when something feels off. This clarity brings calm because it reduces the urgency to solve everything at once. Instead of trying to view every detail of your future, you recognize the value of seeing just the next step with confidence. That shift in itself brings peace. You're entering a time where your decisions will feel more aligned, not because everything becomes easy, but because your inner clarity strengthens your ability to choose wisely. Your focus is becoming more intentional. Your priorities are settling into place. You're beginning to understand that vision doesn't come from pressure. It comes from alignment with purpose. As this clarity grows, you will notice that your goals carry more meaning, your boundaries feel more natural, and your motivation becomes steadier. This sharpened vision prepares you for the next chapters of your journey. It will help you recognize opportunities that are truly meant for you while letting go of paths that no longer reflect your calling. You are moving from confusion to direction, from hesitation to confidence. Trust this clarity as it forms within you. It is guiding you toward the life I've been preparing for you all along. Let your spirit settle for a moment, because I am drawing you into a level of alignment that will influence every decision, every connection, and every step that follows. This pull you've been feeling, the subtle awareness that certain choices no longer feel right, that certain environments drain you, that certain directions stir uneasiness, is guiding you toward alignment with what truly reflects your purpose. You may not have understood the tension at first, but deep within you, something hath been shifting. You're beginning to sense when your actions match the truth of who you are becoming, and when they drift from that truth. This sensitivity is not random. It's evidence that I am bringing your inner world and your outward choices into harmony. Alignment begins quietly. It doesn't force sudden movements or demand drastic changes. Instead, it awakens discernment and highlights discrepancies you once overlooked. There are parts of your life that used to feel comfortable but now create inner conflict. That discomfort is not a sign of failure. It shows that your spirit is maturing. You're becoming more aware of the cost of staying in places that hinder your growth. You're noticing where your peace is disturbed and where your energy is supported. Alignment asks you to listen to these internal signals because they reveal whether the direction you're considering leads you toward fulfillment or pulls you away from it. I am guiding you to recognize this distinction so you can move with clarity rather than confusion. This process involves releasing assumptions you inherited from your past, along with expectations that were placed on you by others. Your journey forward depends on choices that reflect your identity, not the roles or obligations that once defined you. Alignment also affects the way you view opportunities. Not everything available to you is meant for you. Some paths look appealing yet offer no growth. Others appear small but hold significant purpose. As your spirit comes into alignment with my guidance, you will recognize opportunities not by their appearance but by the peace they carry. Certain decisions will begin to feel lighter because they resonate with truth. Others will feel heavy because they contradict your inner direction. This awareness helps you navigate with intention and confidence. What I am shaping in you will create consistency between what you believe and how you live. Your priorities will become clearer. Your boundaries will stabilize. Your actions will reflect trust rather than fear. Alignment allows you to move forward without feeling divided within yourself. Your next season requires this unity, your thoughts, desires, and decisions working together instead of pulling you in conflicting directions. As this inner harmony grows, you'll feel more grounded, more certain, and more capable of stepping into the future with confidence. I am calling you into alignment so that every part of you moves with purpose rather than hesitation. Pay attention to the crossroads before you, because I am urging you to recognize the difference between what feels familiar and what leads you toward the life you are meant to live. Comfort has a way of offering safety while quietly limiting your growth. Calling invites expansion while challenging your assumptions. Both paths can appear appealing, but only one carries the fulfillment your spirit truly seeks. You've reached a point where the pull of comfort and the pull of purpose both feel strong. Comfort offers predictability, familiarity, and ease. Calling requires courage, trust, and willingness to step into the unknown. The choice between them is shaping the foundation of your future. This moment is significant because comfort often disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you to stay where you've always been because the risk seems too high. It tells you to hold on to patterns that no longer serve you because they feel safe. It tells you that remaining still is better than stepping into uncertainty. Yet your spirit is no longer satisfied with stagnation. You sense a restlessness that comfort cannot quiet. That restlessness is not a flaw. It is your calling stirring. You've outgrown the limits of certain routines, and part of you knows that staying in them would diminish your potential. This inner awareness is guiding you toward a deeper expression of who you truly are. Stepping into your calling doesn't require you to abandon everything familiar. It asks you to evaluate whether your decisions lead you toward growth or away from it. Calling doesn't always come with guarantees. It often begins with a single step, a shift in perspective, a willingness to trust that I am guiding you. There will be moments where fear tries to convince you that comfort is the safer option, yet comfort can quietly confine you when you are meant to rise. Your purpose requires strength, resilience, and awareness, and these qualities form when you choose growth over ease. There will come a time when you look back and see that the risks you feared the most were the very steps that shaped your future. Every moment of discomfort becomes part of your transformation. Every leap of faith deepens your confidence. Every step toward calling brings you closer to a life aligned with your identity. I am not asking you to abandon stability. I'm inviting you to trust that fulfillment requires movement. When you choose calling, you choose the path where your gifts expand, your courage strengthens, and your spirit feels alive. Do not settle for what simply feels familiar. The future I am shaping for you is far richer than the comfort you are tempted to cling to. Take notice of the shifts occurring within you, because I am adjusting the inner compass that guides your decisions, your desires, and your interpretation of what truly matters. This recalibration process is subtle yet deeply transformative. It affects the way you perceive situations, the way you respond to challenges, and the way you prioritize what holds meaning. You may feel moments where your old instincts no longer match your new awareness. Certain motivations that once drove you now feel less compelling. You're beginning to filter your choices through a deeper inner clarity rather than impulse or habit. This is the recalibration of your spirit, an alignment of your internal compass with the direction I am leading you. Recalibration often begins with a sense of imbalance. You feel pulled away from behaviors that once felt automatic. You sense a shift in how you evaluate relationships, opportunities, and responsibilities. Emotional patterns that once shaped you begin to lose their influence. Instead of reacting out of fear or urgency, you feel prompted to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. This adjustment may create temporary discomfort because your mind is adapting to new rhythms. Yet this discomfort signals that old inner patterns are being replaced with greater clarity. You're learning how to trust your deeper knowing rather than old assumptions. As your spirit recalibrates, your desires also shift. You feel drawn to environments that support your well-being. You seek conversations that nourish your growth. You become more aware of what strengthens your peace and what disrupts it. This heightened sensitivity is not an inconvenience, it's a guide. It helps you recognize when your choices align with your purpose and when they lead you away from it. You're entering a space where your decisions reflect thoughtful discernment rather than emotional pressure. This internal adjustment brings a sense of order that will prepare you for future steps requiring focus and insight. Recalibration shapes how you interpret challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as signs of failure, you begin to see them as opportunities for strengthening. Instead of allowing stress to dictate your reactions, you recognize signals within your spirit that offer direction. This clarity allows you to move through life with steadier confidence. You will notice that your responses become calmer, your relationships healthier, and your mindset more balanced. This transformation prepares you to handle responsibilities with grace rather than strain. What I am forming in you through this recalibration will influence the rest of your journey. You are becoming more aligned with your purpose, more aware of your truth, and more anchored in your identity. Your spirit is learning how to lead, and your mind is learning how to follow. Trust this shift. It's leading you toward a future built on clarity and strength rather than confusion and reaction. Feel the quiet shift taking place inside you, because I am clearing the fog that once clouded your thoughts and made it difficult for you to trust your own discernment. You've carried mental clutter that didn't begin with your own thoughts. It developed through years of mixed messages, opinions from others, expectations you absorbed, fears that whispered worst-case scenarios, and pressures that demanded certainty before you were ready. Confusion grew out of these influences, shaping your perspective in ways that made clarity feel distant. You tried to make decisions while juggling too many voices at once, leaving your mind overwhelmed rather than centered. Yet this internal environment is changing. The stillness you've been learning to embrace has begun to filter out what does not belong to you. Your spirit is sorting through thoughts that once blended together without distinction. What felt tangled is slowly becoming organized as you recognize which thoughts arise from fear and which arise from truth. The shift may feel subtle at first. You might notice moments where your mind feels lighter without understanding why. There may be times when you revisit old anxieties only to find they no longer hold the same weight. Patterns of overthinking that once consumed hours may begin to fade more quickly. This does not mean you are ignoring challenges. It means your inner landscape is healing. Confusion thrives in environments where everything feels urgent and unresolved. I am removing that urgency. I am helping you respond from a place of calm rather than panic, and this calm is revealing answers that were always within you but hidden beneath noise. You are learning to trust your intuition in ways you once doubted. Your spirit has always carried wisdom, yet fear often silenced that wisdom. As confusion dissolves, your natural discernment becomes more visible. You'll find yourself recognizing misalignment sooner, sensing peace more deeply, and identifying truth with greater ease. This doesn't require you to force clarity. It grows naturally as the unnecessary noise fades. Clarity is not arriving as a dramatic revelation. It's unfolding through steady awareness. You're beginning to understand why certain choices felt stressful and why certain paths created tension. You're also noticing how peace accompanies the directions aligned with your purpose. As confusion lifts, your decisions will feel less like battles and more like conversations between you and your own spirit. You will sense when something is right without needing to justify it endlessly. You will trust your boundaries without over-explaining them. You will pursue what strengthens you rather than what drains you. This renewed clarity will influence how you engage with relationships, opportunities, and responsibilities. You will see your life with insight that allows you to move forward intentionally. This transformation is not accidental. It is the result of your willingness to slow down, listen, and allow me to guide your inner world toward peace. Internal confusion is losing its influence because truth is becoming your anchor. Your mind is finding order, your heart is finding direction, and your spirit is finding room to breathe again. Pause here with me, because stillness is becoming less of a challenge for you and more of a refuge, a place where your soul can receive without feeling pressured to perform. Stillness has not always felt safe to you. The quiet often made room for thoughts you preferred to avoid or emotions you didn't know how to process. Movement felt easier, even when it exhausted you, because it created the illusion of progress. Yet true progress requires internal alignment, not constant activity. You are learning this now, not in theory, but through experience. Stillness has begun to feel different, less like emptiness and more like connection. You're starting to understand that stepping away from the noise doesn't leave you unproductive. It makes your spirit available to insight and renewal. A shift in your relationship with stillness reflects growth. You've developed the capacity to sit with your own thoughts without being overtaken by them. You've gained the ability to slow your internal pace, even when external pressures try to pull you back into hurried patterns. This learning process is reshaping the core of how you manage pressure and responsibility. Instead of responding from urgency, you're learning to respond from composure. Stillness allows you to hear the truth beneath the surface of your emotions. It also reveals which concerns need attention and which concerns fade once you breathe. As you practice stillness, your awareness sharpens. You can sense when your energy is being pulled in unhealthy directions. You notice when your emotions are signaling deeper needs. You begin to recognize the difference between genuine conviction and unnecessary pressure. These insights grow stronger when your mind is not crowded with noise. That quiet space becomes the place where inspiration forms, where healing begins, where clarity rests before rising in your awareness. You may not realize the strength you're gaining from these moments, but they are preparing you for challenges that require steadiness rather than speed. Stillness is helping you engage with life more intentionally. You will soon notice that decisions feel less reactive. Conversations feel more present. Rest feels more restorative. Your inner world becomes a place where you can hear me more clearly because the volume of fear, stress, and distraction has softened. Stillness does not remove responsibility. It reveals how to carry responsibility without being crushed by it. You are learning how to rest without guilt and how to pause without feeling threatened by the quiet. This learning will shape every season ahead. Stillness is becoming a friend rather than an interruption. It is teaching you how to move forward with clarity. It is grounding you in a way that nothing else has been able to do. You are learning stillness, and this skill will anchor your future decisions in peace rather than anxiety. Let your heart lean into this truth, because the step you are preparing to take must be guided by timing that aligns with what I've arranged for you. Not the timing pressured by fear, impatience, or outside expectations. You've been sensing momentum building within you, yet something has kept you from stepping forward prematurely. That hesitation is not weakness, it's wisdom forming. Here is a specific moment when your next move will unfold with ease, clarity, and confidence, and I am aligning that moment with factors you cannot yet see. Timing shapes outcomes. When you move too soon, opportunities lack stability. When you move too late, fear influences decisions. When you move at the right time, everything aligns in ways that reveal purpose. You may feel impatient or wonder if remaining still risks losing your chance. Yet nothing meant for you will slip away because of waiting. What is truly yours remains accessible when the timing is right. I am preparing circumstances, aligning people, and strengthening your inner foundation so that, when you take your next step, you will be met with readiness rather than resistance. This process may feel slow, but it is building momentum beneath the surface. Your spirit is adjusting to the responsibilities ahead. Your heart is healing from burdens that would have complicated your progress. Your mind is gaining clarity required for decisions that shape your future. Timing is not withholding, it's preparing. This period of waiting is refining your discernment. You are learning to sense when peace accompanies a direction and when pressure signals misalignment. You are gaining awareness of the difference between an opportunity that distracts and an opportunity that develops you. This awareness will prevent you from choosing pathways that appear promising but lack lasting fulfillment. When the moment arrives, the clarity will be unmistakable. You will feel aligned internally, supported externally, and strengthened spiritually. You will not feel rushed. You will feel steady. There are elements at play that you cannot yet see, conversations happening without your knowledge, connections forming quietly, environments shifting to make room for your arrival. These pieces take time. If you move now, you would enter a space still unprepared for your presence. By waiting, you allow alignment to complete its work so that your next step carries both impact and sustainability. This timing is for your good. Your next move requires more than desire. It requires readiness. And that readiness is forming within you even now. Trust the pace. Trust the preparation. Trust that when the moment arrives, you will step forward not only with confidence but with the awareness that every detail has been arranged for your success. You are not waiting aimlessly. You are waiting purposefully, and the moment of movement will reveal the value of this pause. Lean into this moment, because I am restoring a confidence within you that rises from trust rather than self-reliance, and this shift is transforming the foundation of how you move through life. You have carried seasons where disappointment made you question my involvement, and uncertainty made you wonder if you could truly depend on what you could not see. Those experiences shaped how you approached challenges, sometimes believing boldly, other times holding back because you feared being let down again. Confidence became something you tried to manufacture on your own, using past achievements or external affirmations to sustain your sense of security. Yet these sources were never meant to support the full weight of your spirit. They wavered under pressure, and whenever they shifted, your confidence shifted with them. What I am forming in you now is different. It does not depend on circumstances or outcomes. It rises from a steady awareness of my presence, my character, and my commitment to guide you. This transformation begins with trust that grows quietly. You may notice moments where fear loses its influence, not because everything becomes clear, but because you sense that you are not walking alone. There may be situations where your initial reaction is uncertainty, yet something within you steadies before panic forms. These moments reveal the confidence I am building in you. Trust is becoming your instinct rather than your last resort. Even when you face unknowns, there is a quiet undercurrent of assurance forming, reminding you that I have already gone before you. This inner steadiness is not denial of difficulty, it is the recognition that you do not face anything without help. Your confidence in me also grows through the way I've been guiding your steps, even when the path felt unclear. Over time, you've realized that certain closed doors protected you, certain interruptions redirected you, and certain delays strengthened you. What once confused you now brings perspective. These realizations deepen your trust because you begin to understand that my guidance is not random. Every twist and turn has carried intention. As this awareness expands, your heart finds rest in the knowledge that I am involved in every detail of your life, whether you immediately understand it or not. Confidence grows when you recognize patterns of my faithfulness woven through your story. This renewed confidence will influence the way you make decisions, You won't feel the same pressure to control every outcome or anticipate every possibility. You will move more calmly because your trust is no longer fragile. You won't need perfect clarity to take a step. You will trust that I will meet you with guidance as you move. Even your prayers will shift. Instead of pleading from a place of fear, you will speak from a place of grounded assurance. Confidence in me does not remove challenges, but it changes how you face them. You rise steadier, think clearer, and respond wiser because you know who sustains you. I am strengthening this confidence day by day, moment by moment, through experiences that teach your heart that I remain faithful. Trust this strengthening. It is preparing you to walk boldly into the steps that lie ahead. Let your shoulders relax as you take this in, because I am guiding you into a new way of living, one where you no longer carry the weight of trying to manage everything on your own. Control often developed in you as a form of protection. It offered a sense of stability when life felt unpredictable, and it created structure when your heart struggled to navigate emotional storms. Many of your attempts to control outcomes were not rooted in pride but in fear, fear of loss, fear of disappointment, fear of repeating old wounds. Over time, this instinct became familiar, convincing you that your safety depended on anticipating every possibility. Yet this approach had its limits. The weight of controlling everything drains your energy and restricts your peace. I am gently guiding you away from this burden, helping you understand that releasing control does not mean losing direction. It means gaining room to breathe, trust, and grow. The process of release often begins with the realization that your effort alone cannot shape every outcome. Certain situations unfold regardless of your preparation. Some relationships change despite your attempts to hold them together. Plans shift even when you've arranged them thoughtfully. At first, these experiences feel discouraging. They can make you question whether your effort matters. Yet I am using these moments to show you that surrender is not defeat. It is alignment. You are not meant to micromanage your own destiny. You are meant to walk in partnership with my guidance. When you loosen your grip, your spirit finds space to receive direction rather than trying to create it through force. You will begin to notice that release brings relief. Decisions feel lighter when they are not fueled by fear. Relationships become healthier because you stop trying to control how others respond or change. Opportunities feel more open when you are not chasing them from a place of desperation. Even your self-expectations soften. You no longer demand perfection from yourself in order to feel secure. Release teaches you to trust that you are supported. It invites you to rest in my presence instead of striving to predict every detail of life. This doesn't mean you stop planning or caring. It means your plans no longer come from panic, and your care no longer drains your peace. As you learn to release control, your faith matures. It deepens in ways that rigid self-reliance could never accomplish. You begin to experience a steadiness rooted not in your ability to manage everything, but in my ability to guide you faithfully. The more you release, the more you recognize how much I've been carrying for you all along. I am teaching you that surrender is strength, not weakness. It creates space for clarity, rest, and alignment. Trust the freedom forming within you. This release is preparing you for the next season of your life. Feel the steady warmth growing in your spirit, because courage is awakening within you, shaping how you face challenges and how you embrace the possibilities unfolding before you. This rising courage is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't appear as reckless confidence or bold declarations. Instead, it forms quietly, building in the deeper layers of your heart. You may notice it first through small decisions, moments where you speak up when you once stayed silent, moments where you move forward even though uncertainty remains. These shifts reveal a growing inner strength that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Your courage isn't emerging from force, it's rising from clarity, healing, and alignment. You no longer respond to fear with avoidance. You respond with intention. This courage grows as a result of what you've endured. Difficult seasons didn't break you, they refined you. Pain didn't diminish your capacity, it expanded it. Every moment where you felt fragile contributed to the resilience that strengthens you now. Courage doesn't mean you no longer feel fear. It means fear no longer dictates your direction. There were times when fear influenced your decisions without you realizing it. You held back because the unknown felt threatening, or you minimized your desires because pursuing them felt risky. Those patterns are dissolving as this new courage forms. You're beginning to understand that the unknown can carry possibility rather than danger, and that risk can open pathways to growth rather than loss. Your courage also rises because trust is replacing anxiety. When you believe you are guided, supported, and strengthened, you stop shrinking away from opportunities. You no longer view challenges as tests you must prove yourself through, but as experiences shaped for your development. You start stepping into the unfamiliar with a grounded assurance that you are not walking alone. This mindset shifts everything. It frees you from fear-based limitations and positions you to take steps that once felt unreachable. You start imagining more for your life because you feel equipped to handle what comes with growth. Another sign of your rising courage is the way you are beginning to honor your own voice. You are allowing yourself to pursue what aligns with your spirit without apologizing for it. You're recognizing the strength in setting boundaries, the value in asking for what you need, and the importance of stepping forward even when the path is not fully visible. These changes do not require force. They emerge from a quiet courage that grows steadily, becoming a natural part of who you are. As this courage continues to rise, you will find yourself moving through life with a new level of confidence, steady, balanced, and aligned with truth. The steps ahead may still challenge you, but they will not overpower you. Courage is taking root, and it will shape the way you walk into every new chapter that unfolds. Listen closely, because a quiet transformation is taking place inside you. Your heart is becoming more responsive to my guidance, not through force, but through a growing desire to walk in alignment with what brings you peace and purpose. You've spent years navigating choices influenced by fear, obligation, past wounds, and the expectations of others. Those influences shaped your decisions more than you realized at the time, often leading you down paths that drained your spirit or kept you tied to patterns that didn't nurture your growth. Obedience once felt like pressure, like a heavy standard you could never meet perfectly. But what is forming within you now carries a very different tone. You're beginning to recognize obedience not as rigid compliance, but as a natural movement toward what nourishes your soul. It's becoming an internal willingness rather than an external demand. You are learning to follow the quiet direction rising from within you, because it feels authentic, trustworthy, and aligned with who you're becoming. This shift shows itself in subtle moments. You might feel hesitation in situations where you once acted impulsively. You may sense a nudge to slow down, pause, and choose differently than before. You're beginning to notice that peace accompanies certain decisions, while inner tension grows when you consider paths that conflict with your values. These internal signals are the gentle ways I guide you, and your heart is learning to respond with increasing clarity. You're discovering that obedience is not about losing your freedom. It's about gaining direction. It brings strength to your choices, steadiness to your emotions, and clarity to your path. As your heart becomes more obedient, your motives shift as well. You no longer move from fear of consequences, but from a desire to stay aligned with truth. You no longer cling to what harms you, because you recognize the difference between comfort and calling. This growth is not about strict patterns, it's about alignment with wisdom, peace and spiritual maturity. You are learning to trust the quiet guidance that rises in stillness, and you're discovering that following it creates more stability than any form of self-protection ever could. Your heart is no longer fighting the process. It's leaning into it. This transformation prepares you for the steps ahead. Opportunities will unfold more naturally because you'll sense which ones carry long-term meaning. Challenges will feel less overwhelming because you'll respond from intention rather than reaction. Relationships will stabilize because you'll make decisions with clarity rather than emotional imbalance. Your heart is becoming more obedient not through pressure, but through understanding that walking with me brings fulfillment that striving can never produce. Trust what you're sensing. Your heart is changing in ways that will support every chapter ahead. Let your attention rest on the deeper layers of your soul, because I am bringing healing to places within you that you learn to navigate around rather than address directly. Over the years, you've carried emotional wounds that did not always receive time or space to be acknowledged. Some of them formed in moments of disappointment, abandonment, or betrayal. Others developed in seasons where you had to stay strong for others, leaving little room to tend to your own pain. You adapted. You compensated. You survived. But the pain didn't disappear. It simply settled into quieter corners of your heart, influencing your reactions, expectations, and fears in ways you didn't always understand. Healing often begins when awareness rises unexpectedly. A memory surfaces. A conversation triggers discomfort. An old fear returns in a new situation. These experiences aren't regressions. They're signs that your heart is ready for restoration. I am guiding you gently into the places you once avoided, not to overwhelm you, but to free you. Avoidance provided temporary relief, but healing provides lasting transformation. You may notice moments where emotions come to the surface without warning or where patterns you thought were resolved reappear. These moments reveal what is finally ready to be released. Healing is rarely quick, but it is deep when approached with honesty and compassion. This inner work will not break you. It will strengthen you. As old wounds come into the light, their influence begins to weaken. You start to understand how past experiences shaped certain fears or habits. You begin to recognize emotional triggers for what they are, signals from an unhealed place, not reflections of present reality. But recognition alone brings clarity. Understanding softens self-judgment, allowing you to treat yourself with more kindness. Healing flourishes in environments where compassion replaces shame, and I am guiding you into that environment now. In time, you will notice how much lighter you feel emotionally. You will respond differently to situations that once overwhelmed you. You will develop boundaries that protect your well-being instead of relying on old survival strategies. You will experience relationships with more openness and less fear because the wounds that once shaped your expectations are losing their influence. This healing will not erase your past. It will integrate it in a way that brings wisdom without pain. I am healing what you haven't faced, and this restoration will support your future in ways you cannot yet imagine. Feel the steady stillness moving through your spirit, because I am restoring peace to you in places where anxiety, uncertainty, and emotional strain once held influence. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict or stress. It is a state of inner harmony where your thoughts, emotions, and spirit settle into clarity rather than chaos. You've lived through seasons where peace felt distant, periods where your mind raced with possibilities. Your emotions swung between hope and worry, and your spirit felt stretched beyond its limits. Those seasons shaped your resilience, but they also left layers of tension that became part of your daily experience. I am lifting that tension now. You may not notice this restoration all at once. It may begin with moments of calm in situations that once created panic. You might find yourself breathing more steadily, responding with patience rather than urgency, or seeing challenges with clearer perspective. These subtle shifts indicate that your nervous system is settling, your mind is quieting, and your emotions are stabilizing. Peace is becoming something you carry from within, not something you seek through external circumstances. I am nurturing this inner balance by removing pressures that never belong to you and realigning your thoughts toward truth rather than fear-based assumptions. This restoration changes how you interpret difficulty. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you begin to sense solutions forming. Instead of spiraling into worst-case scenarios, you recognize that outcomes unfold with purpose. This does not mean challenges disappear. It means you approach them with stability rather than panic. Peace gives you room to think clearly, choose wisely, and navigate life without carrying unnecessary emotional weight. It strengthens your relationships by allowing you to respond rather than react. It improves your decisions by giving you mental clarity. It replenishes your energy by reducing the emotional strain that once exhausted you. As your peace returns, you will notice a renewed sense of trust, not blind optimism, but grounded assurance that you are guided, supported, and protected. This peace will anchor you in seasons of transition and uplift you in moments of uncertainty. You are being restored from the inside out, and this restoration is preparing you for everything that comes next. Peace is returning, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a steady foundation. Let your heart absorb this truth, because I am restoring your ability to trust in what I have spoken over you, even in the seasons where the evidence felt distant or impossible to grasp. You've walked through stretches of time where the promises you once held onto with excitement began to feel uncertain. As circumstances shifted, as delays lingered, and as the path twisted in ways you didn't expect, your confidence in those promises weakened. Not because you lacked faith, but because the waiting tested you more deeply than you anticipated. There were moments when hope felt fragile, when discouragement whispered that you misunderstood my intentions, and when disappointment made you cautious to believe again. Yet none of those moments diminished the truth of what I declared over your life. What felt dormant was never dead. What seemed delayed was being shaped in ways you could not see. I have been working beneath the surface, preparing the fulfillment of those promises and preparing you to carry them. This rebuilding is gentle. It happens through clarity rising in your spirit, through new strength emerging in your heart, and through the subtle reassurance that I have never withdrawn my intentions for your life. You may notice your confidence returning in ways you didn't expect. Small reminders that align perfectly with past prayers, opportunities beginning to open again, or internal assurance growing without external explanation. These moments aren't coincidences. They are markers of restoration. I am helping you trust again without the weight of past disappointments directing your expectations. Your confidence is being rebuilt on a stronger foundation, one shaped by understanding, experience, and renewed faith. There is purpose behind the seasons where promises seem slow. Timing matters. Preparation matters. You were not ready for certain blessings in earlier seasons, and they were not ready for you. I've been aligning conditions so that when these promises unfold, they won't slip through your hands or overwhelm you. As this alignment becomes clearer, your confidence in my promises will rise naturally. It won't come from forcing belief or trying to convince yourself. It will come from recognizing my consistency, my timing, and my involvement in every detail. This restoration will change how you face the future. Instead of holding back due to fear of disappointment, you will step forward with expectancy. Instead of questioning whether you're worthy of what's ahead, you'll understand that my promises were never based on your perfection but on my purpose for you. Your confidence will not be fragile, shaken by challenges or silence, but steady, rooted in the understanding that what I begin, I complete. Allow this rebuilding to continue. You are being prepared to receive what I promised with clarity, courage, and gratitude. Pay attention to the subtle awakening happening within you, because you are beginning to see my faithfulness with fresh eyes. Eyes that can trace my presence in places you once overlooked. Throughout your life, there were moments when you questioned whether I was near. Challenges created shadows that made it difficult to perceive my involvement. Disappointments dulled your expectations. Emotional strain created distances that made my presence feel less tangible. Yet even in those seasons, I remained steady. I guided you through every transition, provided strength at unexpected times, and orchestrated outcomes that protected you in ways you didn't understand until later. Now, as your spirit becomes clearer and your mind becomes calmer, you're noticing how my hand hath been woven through your story all along. You're recognizing my faithfulness not just in dramatic breakthroughs, but in the quiet ways I've sustained you. The conversations that brought clarity at the right moment, the opportunities that appeared when you needed direction, the relationships that supported you through heaviness, the inner strength that rose when you felt empty. All of these moments were expressions of my faithfulness. Your growing awareness of these patterns is strengthening your trust. It's helping you see that I have never abandoned you, even when circumstances felt overwhelming. Recognition of faithfulness deepens appreciation and ignites renewed hope. As this awareness grows, old assumptions lose their power. You stop viewing difficult seasons as signs of abandonment and instead see them as parts of a story still unfolding. You begin to understand that every unexpected turn prepared you for where you stand now. You recognize that closed doors protected you rather than punished you. You see that the comfort you received in the hardest moments wasn't coincidence. It was evidence of my nearness. This shift changes not only how you view the past, but how you interpret the present and anticipate the future. This renewed recognition of my faithfulness will anchor you in coming seasons. It will strengthen your courage when uncertainty rises. It will steady your emotions when circumstances appear contradictory to your expectations. It will remind you that you are not navigating life alone. Faithfulness is not something I express occasionally. It is the foundation of every promise, every direction, every moment of guidance I've given you. As you continue to see this clearly, your trust will deepen, your perspective will broaden, and your heart will rest with greater peace. You're recognizing my faithfulness again, and this awareness will carry you forward with confidence. Let this truth settle into your spirit, because I am arranging relationships around your future, individuals who will walk with you, support you, and align with the direction I am leading you. You've experienced connections that served a purpose for a time but could not remain with you through every transition. Some relationships faded naturally. Others ended abruptly. Some left wounds that required time to heal. All of these experiences shaped how you view connection and trust. They taught you caution, wisdom, and resilience. Yet they also created space within you, space that is now becoming available for the people who are truly meant to accompany you into the next chapter of your life. I am preparing these individuals even now, shaping their hearts, aligning their paths, and positioning them so that when they enter your life, the connection feels purposeful rather than forced. You may sense the early signs of this preparation through shifts in your desires. You might feel drawn toward relationships that inspire growth rather than comfort. Interactions that once drained you now feel easier to recognize and step away from. You're beginning to value authenticity over proximity, depth over convenience, and alignment over familiarity. This shift reflects the readiness forming within you for healthier, more aligned connections. Your spirit is healing and becoming capable of receiving the kind of support and companionship you deserve. As I prepare these individuals, I am also preparing you. I'm strengthening your boundaries so that you can maintain emotional clarity. I'm refining your discernment so you can recognize sincerity. I'm healing your heart from old wounds so that new relationships aren't built on fear or insecurity. This preparation ensures that the connections entering your life will not repeat the patterns of the past but will reflect the growth you've embraced. Some of these people will encourage you in areas where you felt isolated. Others will bring insight that supports your purpose. A few will become pillars, steady, trustworthy, and spiritually aligned with where you're headed. This preparation doesn't require you to search anxiously or force connections. It unfolds naturally as alignment deepens within you. The right people will recognize your spirit. They will affirm your growth, support your calling, and walk alongside you with mutual respect. You won't need to question whether they belong in your life. Their presence will bring clarity rather than confusion, peace rather than tension, and encouragement rather than doubt. I am preparing these connections with care because your next season requires community, support, and partnership that reflect where you're going rather than where you've been. Trust this process. The people meant to join your journey are being shaped even now, and when they arrive, their presence will feel like confirmation, not coincidence. Open your awareness to what has been shifting beneath the surface of your life, because you are being repositioned in ways that will expand your influence and deepen your purpose. This transition may not look dramatic on the outside, yet internally you've sensed a steady pull, an unmistakable feeling that certain spaces no longer fit you the way they once did. The activities, routines, and conversations that previously felt comfortable are beginning to feel smaller. Your interests are changing. Your goals are maturing. Even the way you interpret your responsibilities is evolving. These sensations are not signs of restlessness. They reflect the early stages of repositioning. You've outgrown certain capacities without even realizing it. The internal stretching you've been experiencing is making room for the role you are stepping into. This role will require more clarity, more spiritual depth, and more intentional focus than earlier seasons demanded. You're being prepared to operate from a higher level of wisdom, discernment, and influence. Repositioning often involves subtle adjustments, shifts in priorities, redefined boundaries, or renewed motivation. You may notice yourself feeling drawn toward environments that challenge you in healthy ways, or feeling a natural distancing from places where your growth has stalled. These changes aren't random. They reflect a quiet guidance directing you toward opportunities that align with who you are becoming. You are growing into a stronger, wiser version of yourself, and this growth affects what you're willing to tolerate and what you feel compelled to pursue. Repositioning requires alignment, and alignment requires clarity about what strengthens you and what diminishes you. That clarity is rising within you now. As you're repositioned, you'll find that certain opportunities will begin to appear with greater consistency. Conversations will open pathways you never considered. People you meet during this season may unlock insight or direction that fills gaps you've wrestled with for years. This unfolding won't feel forced. It will feel natural, yet significant. Much of what you're being prepared for involves stepping into responsibilities that impact not only your life but the lives of those connected to you. Your decisions will influence others more deeply than before, and your growth will serve as a blueprint for people who look to you for strength and guidance. This repositioning also prepares you to contribute from a place of abundance rather than exhaustion. You've spent years carrying responsibilities that stretched you thin. Now, you're learning how to pour from a place of stability, clarity, and health. This shift will allow you to speak with authority, lead with confidence, and nurture others without losing yourself in the process. Repositioning is not about elevation for the sake of recognition. It's about placing you where your growth can flourish and where your gifts can truly make a difference. Trust the shifts occurring within you and around you. You are being guided into a space designed to support the full expression of your purpose. Let your spirit settle into this truth, because you are undergoing refinement that is shaping your character for the responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings that await you. Refinement often goes unnoticed at first. It shows up as changes in your reactions, moments where you pause instead of rushing, where you listen more deeply before responding, where you evaluate what once triggered you and recognize you've gained emotional steadiness. These changes didn't arise from convenience but from intentional inner growth. You're learning how to respond with wisdom, patience, and emotional maturity. Refinement deepens the quality of who you are so that when greater opportunities arrive, you can step into them without being overwhelmed by pressure or insecurity. Your character is being shaped through the experiences that challenge you the most. The frustrations you faced, the delays you've endured, the misunderstandings you've navigated, and the choices you've made when no one was watching. All of these moments have contributed to your growth. You're learning how to choose integrity even when shortcuts feel easier. You're learning how to stand firm in truth even when external circumstances create confusion. You're learning how to treat others with compassion even when you feel stretched thin. These qualities cannot be taught through theory. They are shaped through lived experience. This refinement isn't about perfection. It's about preparing you to hold what is coming without compromising your peace or your values. New opportunities require endurance. New relationships require emotional strength. New responsibilities require consistency and accountability. The refinement you're experiencing now ensures that your future won't crumble under the weight of unpreparedness. You're being shaped into someone who can carry influence with humility, authority, and balance. You're learning how to handle pressure without losing your center, and how to navigate growth without losing your connection to truth. As this refinement continues, you will notice your capacity increasing. You'll handle decisions with more confidence. You'll communicate with greater clarity. You'll listen more intentionally. You'll step into new spaces without shrinking or doubting your worth. You'll trust yourself and my guidance with deeper assurance. Your character is forming the foundation that your future will stand on. When the next season arrives, you will recognize that every challenge you endured played a part in shaping you for it. You are not being polished for show. You are being prepared for purpose. Pay attention to the change in the emotional and spiritual environment around you, because the atmosphere that once weighed you down is being transformed in ways that support your growth and clarity. There were seasons when the atmosphere around you felt heavy, filled with stress, uncertainty, or emotional strain. Those environments influenced your energy, your thoughts, and even your sense of hope. You carried responsibilities that stretched you thin and navigated conversations that drained your spirit. Without realizing it, you adapted to atmospheres that were never meant to be permanent. But now, you're stepping into a season where the space around you is shifting. This change may feel subtle at first: an increase in emotional clarity, a renewed sense of calm, or a desire to clean up the physical or relational clutter around you. These shifts reveal that something deeper is occurring. Your atmosphere is being cleared of what once clouded your perception and drained your strength. A shift in atmosphere often begins within long before it manifests outwardly. You've been releasing fears, doubts, and old emotional patterns. As your inner world becomes clearer, you naturally gravitate toward spaces that support that clarity. You're no longer drawn to environments that feed chaos or conflict. You're craving spaces that nurture peace, vision, and emotional safety. This inner recalibration is influencing the people you engage with, the conversations you entertain, and the decisions you make regarding what you allow into your surroundings. These choices are not random. They are reflections of your spiritual maturity. As your atmosphere shifts, new forms of inspiration emerge. Your creativity increases. Your focus sharpens. Your desire for healthy discipline strengthens. You begin to notice how much easier it is to reflect, plan, dream, and take action. You experience fewer emotional disruptions because you're no longer surrounded by influences that create unnecessary tension. This shift will also improve your confidence because environments either weaken you or strengthen you, and you are moving into environments that strengthen you. This atmospheric change prepares you for movement. The clarity it brings will position you to make decisions that align with your calling. The peace it cultivates will nurture your emotional resilience. The space it opens will invite new opportunities and relationships that support your purpose. What once felt heavy will no longer hold you. The atmosphere around you is being renewed, cleansed, and aligned with the future you're stepping into. Trust this shift. It is part of your transformation, and it is preparing the space where your next breakthroughs will unfold. Let your spirit pay attention right now, because the direction of your life is being aligned in ways that reflect a deeper purpose than anything you've walked in before. This alignment touches the areas of your life that once felt scattered or uncertain. You have carried dreams that seemed disconnected from your reality, goals that felt delayed, and desires that felt too distant to reach. Yet beneath every longing, I have been guiding your steps, placing experiences in your path that would equip you for the purpose unfolding now. You may have questioned the detours, the unexpected pauses, and the seasons where progress felt slow, but each of those moments contributed to the clarity rising within you today. Your purpose is not something you stumble into by accident. It is something shaped through process, reflection, and inner transformation. This alignment isn't loud or forceful. It unfolds as insight becomes clearer, as your values shift, and as you grow more aware of the difference between distractions and meaningful direction. You may notice that certain pursuits no longer interest you, not because you have lost motivation, but because your spirit recognizes they no longer fit who you are. This is part of the alignment. Your energy is being redirected. Your priorities are adjusting. The interests that once captivated you are giving way to passions that reflect deeper truth. You're beginning to sense which opportunities support your growth and which ones would limit your potential. As alignment deepens, the decisions you once agonized over will feel easier to navigate. You will sense direction through peace rather than pressure. You'll recognize closed doors as protection instead of rejection. You'll feel drawn toward environments that nurture your calling rather than drain your energy. This alignment also requires courage, because stepping into purpose requires letting go of what once felt familiar. Yet even in the release, I am strengthening you. You're learning that alignment often begins with internal agreement, your thoughts, desires, and spirit moving in the same direction. When this harmony forms, the external path becomes clearer. This alignment is not just about career, relationships, or goals. It is about becoming the person capable of carrying the responsibility, influence, and fulfillment attached to your calling. Purpose demands maturity, grounding, and clarity, qualities forming within you now. As you continue moving forward, you will recognize signs that confirm your direction. You will meet people who affirm your growth, encounter opportunities that reflect your development, and find that your steps begin to match the rhythm of the purpose that has been waiting for you. You are not wandering. You are aligning. And every shift within you is leading you toward a life that reflects the reason you were created. Pay attention to the quiet anticipation rising in your heart, because doors that remained inaccessible in previous seasons are beginning to open in ways that will surprise you. You faced moments where opportunities slipped through your fingers or seemed reserved for others. There were times when you felt prepared, ready, and eager, yet the timing wasn't right. You questioned whether you were missing something, whether you needed to change, or whether the door was never meant for you in the first place. What you couldn't see then was the preparation happening behind the scenes, both within you and within the environments meant to receive you. Not all openings occur when you desire them. Some occur when both you and the opportunity have matured enough to support long-term growth. You're entering a season where previously inaccessible pathways will begin to shift. This may show up as unexpected invitations, new roles, reconnections with individuals who now see your value more clearly, or sudden clarity about steps you once hesitated to take. These openings are not random. They are the result of alignment between your readiness and my timing. You've gained wisdom from challenges, patience from delays, and strength from seasons where nothing seemed to move. These qualities have shaped you into someone capable of walking through doors without fear, insecurity, or self-doubt clouding your purpose. As these doors open, you'll recognize that the timing is perfect in ways you couldn't appreciate before. You'll feel more emotionally grounded, more spiritually aware, and more confident in your ability to handle what waits on the other side. Patterns that once held you back, hesitation, fear of inadequacy, concern about others' opinions, no longer carry the same influence. You've grown past the mindset that once made you doubt whether you belonged in certain spaces. Now, you step forward with the understanding that opportunities aligned with your purpose will not require you to shrink yourself. These openings will also introduce connections and possibilities that expand your horizons. New doors lead to new responsibilities, but they also bring new fulfillment. You'll find yourself moving into environments where your voice is valued, your gifts recognized, and your presence appreciated. You will feel a sense of ease, not because the journey becomes effortless, but because the doors opening before you are designed for your growth. What was once closed is opening with intention, and each entryway will feel like confirmation that your patience, growth, and faith were never in vain. Let your inner awareness rise, because your discernment is becoming sharper in ways that will protect your steps, refine your choices, and guide you toward what truly aligns with your spirit. You've experienced moments where decisions felt confusing, where motivations, both your own and others, were difficult to interpret, and where uncertainty clouded your ability to choose clearly. These experiences were not signs of weakness. They were places where discernment was being formed. Discernment grows through exposure, through learning what drains you and what strengthens you, what pulls you off course and what leads to clarity. You are entering a season where this inner wisdom will become one of your greatest strengths. Your discernment is being elevated so you can navigate opportunities without being misled by appearances. Not every open door belongs to you. Not every opportunity aligns with your growth. Not every voice deserves access to your heart. Elevated discernment allows you to recognize subtle cues, tones in conversations, shifts in your emotions, inconsistencies in situations that once slipped past your awareness. You'll notice when something feels supportive and when something feels off. You'll trust your inner signals more readily because they no longer come from a place of fear but from clarity. This heightened discernment will protect your peace. It will help you choose relationships with emotional intelligence, pursue goals with confidence, and recognize when you need to pause before acting. You won't feel pressured to rush into decisions. You'll take your time because you trust the signals arising within you. Emotional patterns you used to overlook will become clear indicators. Environments that once felt neutral will reveal their true influence. People who align with your growth will become unmistakably evident. As your discernment strengthens, your direction will become more focused. You'll spend less time correcting avoidable mistakes and more time moving toward meaningful opportunities. You'll feel the difference between choices that bring expansion and choices that create stagnation. This clarity isn't meant to isolate you. It is meant to guide you into alignment with truth. Discernment elevates your ability to interpret the unseen, the intentions, the underlying motives, the spiritual weight of decisions. You're stepping into a season where your insight will guide you more accurately than logic alone ever could. Trust this sharpening. It is preparing you to navigate your next steps with wisdom and confidence. Let your awareness sharpen for a moment, because I am clearing away the influences, pressures, and inner noise that have quietly pulled you off course without you fully realizing it. Distractions often enter your life disguised as commitments, opportunities, or even relationships that seem beneficial on the surface. They may offer comfort or familiarity, yet they divert your focus from what I've been cultivating within you. Over time, these distractions accumulate, fragmenting your attention and scattering your energy. You begin to feel stretched in many directions, unable to give your best to the places that matter most. This sense of internal clutter has weighed on you, sometimes leaving you uncertain about why you feel mentally or spiritually fatigued. What's happening now is a gentle but unmistakable clearing. You may notice decreasing interest in activities that once consumed your time. You may sense yourself stepping away from conversations that once seemed engaging yet drain you emotionally. These signals reveal that your spirit is beginning to reject what no longer aligns with your growth. Distractions rarely disappear all at once. Instead, they lose their hold gradually. You start recognizing that not every request deserves your attention, and that not every responsibility is meant for you. Your inner clarity grows stronger, making it easier to identify where your focus is being pulled out of alignment. You'll find yourself becoming more protective of your time, more intentional with your commitments, and more selective with the voices you allow into your mind. This isn't selfishness, it's stewardship. You are learning to honor the call on your life by eliminating the clutter that dilutes your purpose. As these distractions fall away, new space begins to form within you. That space becomes fertile ground for creativity, clarity, and rest. You may experience increasing moments of insight or bursts of motivation that feel refreshing and unexpected. Your spirit, once crowded with competing priorities, now finds room to breathe. You are rediscovering the strength that emerges when your attention is no longer divided. This freedom will help you hear my guidance more clearly and respond to it without hesitation. Removing distractions also prepares you for opportunities ahead. When your focus is clear, you recognize what truly matters. You're less influenced by temporary pressures and more anchored in decisions that have eternal weight. You'll begin to see the difference between what is urgent and what is important, between what is loud and what is meaningful. This clarity will guide you into healthier rhythms, deeper relationships, and more purposeful steps. Trust this process. You are being prepared to move forward with intention, and the absence of distractions will allow you to give your best to the assignment waiting before you. Listen with intention, because I am shaping wisdom within you that will influence every choice you make and every interaction you engage in from this point forward. Wisdom is not merely knowledge or intellectual understanding. It is the ability to interpret situations with clarity, navigate relationships with discernment, and make decisions that honor your purpose without sabotaging your peace. You've learned many lessons through experience, some through triumph, others through discomfort. These moments, while difficult at times, have become the building blocks of a deeper, more grounded wisdom. You're beginning to recognize patterns you once overlooked. You're identifying motives you once misunderstood. You're noticing truth in situations where confusion used to dominate. This internal shift shows that wisdom is taking root. Walking in wisdom requires emotional clarity, and that clarity hath been forming within you as old fears lose power and new insight rises. You're learning how to pause before reacting, You're learning how to evaluate choices without letting fear dictate your direction. You're learning how to step back from situations long enough to see the bigger picture. These skills are shaping you into someone who makes decisions thoughtfully rather than impulsively. They also position you to avoid pitfalls that once trapped you in cycles of frustration or regret. As this wisdom strengthens, you'll navigate relationships with greater understanding. Conversations that once overwhelmed you will feel more manageable. Conflicts that once triggered anxiety will no longer control your reactions. You'll notice when someone is speaking from sincerity and when someone is masking deeper intentions. You will respond with grace without allowing yourself to be manipulated. This maturity helps you maintain peace while honoring your boundaries. It also enables you to invest only in relationships that support your emotional and spiritual well-being. Wisdom will influence your aspirations as well. You will stop pursuing goals driven by insecurity and start focusing on paths aligned with your purpose. You will recognize which opportunities carry long-term value and which ones merely offer temporary gratification. Your decisions will reflect strength rather than pressure and clarity rather than confusion. This shift will affect every part of your life: your work, your relationships, your priorities, and your sense of direction. What I'm teaching you now will serve you for years to come. Wisdom will become a guiding force that protects you from unnecessary stress and positions you for growth. You will make choices with confidence, knowing they arise from a place of inner alignment. Trust this process. The wisdom forming within you is preparing you for assignments that require maturity, clarity, and emotional steadiness. Allow this truth to reach the deepest part of you, because I am fortifying your inner resolve in ways that will empower you to remain steady even when life presents challenges or unexpected shifts. Resolve is the quiet strength that anchors your decisions, sustains your vision, and keeps you grounded amid uncertainty. You've encountered moments where your determination wavered, not because you were weak, but because the weight you carried was far heavier than others realized. You've questioned your own endurance at times, wondering whether you had enough within you to keep moving forward. Yet in each season, you found strength you didn't know you had. That resilience didn't appear out of nowhere. It grew from a deeper part of your spirit, a part I have been nurturing patiently. What is happening now is the strengthening of that core, a reinforcement of your ability to stand firm without relying on external circumstances for stability. Inner resolve develops through challenge. It forms when you choose to stay aligned with purpose even when the path is unclear. It grows when you respond to difficulty with courage rather than retreat. It matures when you hold on to hope even when life pushes against it. You have made decisions that required strength long before you felt prepared for them. You've walked through situations that would have broken earlier versions of yourself. These experiences have shaped you into someone who understands that endurance is built slowly, through consistency, reflection, and trust. As your inner resolve strengthens, you will notice changes in the way you respond to pressure. Situations that once created emotional turmoil will no longer overwhelm you. You'll recognize setbacks as temporary rather than defining. You'll approach challenges with a steady mind rather than panic. This does not mean your life will be free of difficult moments, but it does mean you will navigate those moments with an internal stability that cannot be easily shaken. Your confidence will deepen because you know you can withstand discomfort without losing your direction. This strengthened resolve will also influence the choices you make. You'll set boundaries with greater clarity. You'll pursue long-term goals without abandoning them at the first sign of resistance. You will speak truth with calm assurance rather than hesitation. You'll stand firm in decisions that reflect your identity rather than bending under pressure to appease others. This inner stability creates a foundation that supports your relationships, your purpose, and your emotional well-being. I am strengthening your resolve so you can step into responsibilities that require emotional maturity and spiritual depth. You are being prepared to walk with confidence, not because your path will be easy, but because your inner world is becoming unshakable. Trust what is forming within you. This strength will carry you into every future chapter with courage and clarity. Let your heart open gently as you hear this, because I am enlarging your capacity to receive in ways that will reshape your expectations, your relationships, and your understanding of what is possible for your life. You have spent years learning how to give your time, your effort, your emotional energy, your support. You poured into situations and people with sincerity, often without receiving the same level of generosity in return. Over time, this imbalance taught you how to survive with less than you needed. It conditioned you to shrink your desires, to lower your expectations, and to carry burdens that were never meant to rest solely on your shoulders. You learned endurance, but endurance without replenishment left parts of your heart weary. Now, I am preparing you for a season where receiving becomes just as natural to you as giving once was. This expansion may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because it challenges the patterns you've built to protect yourself from disappointment. Yet what is forming within you is the capacity to welcome support, blessing, opportunity, and abundance without guilt or hesitation. You might already sense this shift through moments where your spirit nudges you to allow help rather than push through alone. You're noticing a desire for deeper emotional exchanges, for conversations where your own needs matter, not just the needs of others. You're recognizing areas where you've minimized your desires out of fear of appearing needy or burdensome. These realizations reveal where your capacity has been limited by past experiences, and they show that you're ready for expansion. Receiving is not weakness. It is a reflection of balance, honor, and wholeness. You are being taught to trust that you're worthy of receiving blessings that strengthen you rather than drain you. This expansion will influence every area of your life. It will allow you to step into new opportunities with confidence instead of suspicion. You will begin to recognize when doors open for you, not because you earned them through struggle, but because you are aligned with what I have prepared. Your relationships will shift as you become more willing to accept kindness, encouragement, and support. People who value you will step forward more clearly, and you will recognize the difference between healthy reciprocity and one-sided interactions. This capacity also affects how you view your own worth. As you receive more, you will understand that you do not have to prove yourself to be worthy of care. Even your spiritual sensitivity increases when you allow yourself to receive. You'll hear guidance more clearly because your heart has room for reassurance. You'll experience peace more deeply because you're no longer pushing away the very comfort your spirit longs for. As your capacity expands, you'll stop living in survival mode and begin living in a state of expectancy, anticipating provision, favor, and alignment rather than bracing for disappointment. This is not a shift rooted in entitlement. It is rooted in truth. You were never meant to live depleted. You're being prepared to receive at a level that matches the purpose, influence, and fulfillment assigned to your future. Lean into this moment with intention, because there is a depth of maturity forming in you that will equip you to handle situations with wisdom, steadiness, and emotional strength you once doubted you could access. Maturity doesn't emerge through age alone. It develops through experiences that stretch your understanding, challenge your assumptions, and invite you to reflect on your reactions rather than simply repeat old patterns. You've recently walked through seasons that demanded more from you, more patience, more self-awareness, more intentional choices. These seasons revealed areas where growth was needed and areas where strength was dormant. Although some of those moments felt uncomfortable, they created the soil necessary for deeper maturity to flourish. This new maturity shows itself through subtle changes. You think before speaking in situations that once triggered immediate reactions. You take time to examine your emotions rather than allowing them to dictate your decisions. You find it easier to hold appropriate boundaries, not out of defensiveness, but from a grounded understanding of what keeps your spirit healthy. You're developing a clearer grasp of cause and effect in your relationships, recognizing how your choices influence the dynamics around you. These changes reflect inner growth that has been forming quietly but steadily. This maturity will serve you in profound ways. It will guide you in responsibilities that require emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and a calm presence. It will shape how you navigate conflict, making you less reactive and more solution-oriented. It will influence your communication, allowing you to speak truth with gentleness and conviction. It will transform how you experience disappointment, helping you interpret challenges through clarity rather than fear. Maturity deepens your ability to lead, love, and learn without being overwhelmed by unpredictability. This growth also enriches your spiritual sensitivity. As you mature, you discern more quickly which paths align with peace and which paths create chaos. You understand the importance of timing, recognizing when to wait and when to act. You interpret setbacks through a lens of growth rather than defeat. This perspective protects your emotional balance and strengthens your resolve. In future seasons, you will look back and realize that the maturity forming within you now prepared you for opportunities that require wisdom, balance, and discernment on a level you previously did not possess. This maturity does not make you rigid or hardened. It makes you stable. It does not strip you of compassion. It deepens it. It does not remove your passion. It gives it direction. You're stepping into a place where your emotional, mental, and spiritual capacities align, allowing your decisions to reflect your true identity rather than your fears. Trust what's unfolding. This deepened maturity is shaping the version of you that is fully prepared for what is coming next. Let this truth settle into the deeper places of your spirit, because I am preparing you to carry increase spiritually, emotionally, relationally, and even materially, with a steadiness that reflects the growth you've embraced. Increase is not simply about receiving more. It is about stewarding more with balance, humility, and clarity. Many people desire increase, but not everyone is prepared to handle it. Without emotional maturity, increase becomes overwhelming. Without discernment, increase invites unnecessary complications. Without grounded identity, increase can distort priorities. What I am forming in you now ensures that none of these challenges hinder the blessings being released into your life. You are being prepared not just to receive increase, but to manage it with grace. This preparation begins internally. You've been learning how to regulate your emotions, how to create healthier rhythms, and how to establish boundaries that protect your peace. These skills may seem small, but they form the foundation needed to handle greater responsibility without losing yourself in the process. Increase requires structure, mental, emotional, spiritual, and these structures are taking shape within you. You're becoming more organized in your thoughts, more intentional in your choices, and more consistent in your habits. This growth ensures that when increase comes, it enhances your life rather than overwhelming it. You're also learning how to navigate relationships with greater clarity. Increase often attracts new connections, some genuine, others not. You're developing the discernment to recognize who supports your journey and who might hinder your progress. This clarity prevents the relational confusion that has tripped you up in the past. You're learning how to maintain healthy boundaries without withdrawing emotionally, allowing you to cultivate relationships that uplift you without draining your energy. Handling increase also requires humility, and you are growing in that area too. Humility is not self-diminishment. It is the awareness that blessings carry responsibility, not entitlement. You are learning how to remain grounded even when you step into opportunities that elevate your influence. This posture ensures that your growth blesses others, not just yourself. Increase will amplify what is already within you, and because you've embraced this inner work, what will be amplified is wisdom, compassion, and stability. When increase arrives, whether through new opportunities, deeper relationships, expanded influence, or improved circumstances, you will carry it with a grace that reflects your journey. You will not feel overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility. You will not be pulled off course by pressure. You will not sabotage blessings through fear or self-doubt. Instead, you will rise into this increase with confidence, balance, and a heart anchored in purpose. Trust this preparation. It is shaping you into someone fully capable of carrying everything that is coming your way. Hold your attention here, because you are being guided into a deeper understanding of what opportunity truly looks like, beyond appearances, assumptions, or emotional urgency. There have been moments in your life when you pursued something simply because it was available, not because it was aligned. At other times, you overlooked meaningful pathways because they felt too unfamiliar or required a level of courage you didn't yet possess. You've also encountered situations that appeared promising on the surface, but lacked depth, stability, or long-term value. These experiences weren't wasted. They trained your perception. They taught you that opportunity is not defined by visibility, intensity, or external validation. True opportunity carries a certain substance, a resonance in your spirit, a quiet knowing that emerges whether the path looks desirable or daunting. What I am shaping in you now is the sensitivity to distinguish between what merely inflates your hopes and what genuinely aligns with your destiny. You will begin to sense this through the way your inner world responds when something is right for you. A genuine opportunity would demand frantic movement or create unnecessary confusion. It will invite clarity, even if the step feels bold. You'll notice your fears quieting instead of amplifying. Your thoughts will settle rather than scatter. Your spirit will lean toward it rather than recoil. This recognition doesn't remove uncertainty, but it reveals direction. You've been learning how to listen to this inner confirmation, even when logic cannot fully support it. Likewise, you'll recognize when something is not meant for you. You'll feel strain where there should be ease, heaviness where there should be alignment, or a sense of forcing where there should be flow. This awareness will protect you from investing your energy into places that cannot sustain your growth. Recognizing opportunity also involves understanding timing. Something meant for you may not feel right simply because it is premature. Your discernment is becoming mature enough to differentiate between not now and not ever. You'll learn how to wait with expectation rather than anxiety, because you'll understand that the right opportunity will not require you to sacrifice your well-being or diminish your identity. Instead, it will complement your growth, sharpen your strengths, and invite you to expand into the version of yourself you've been developing internally. You will find yourself drawn to opportunities that challenge you in healthy ways without draining your spirit. As this awareness deepens, decisions will become clearer. Your yes will carry weight because it is rooted in wisdom. Your no will carry strength because it honors your purpose. You will move forward with intention, not rushing into open doors simply because they exist, but choosing the ones that carry the tone of alignment. True opportunity strengthens rather than scatters. It clarifies rather than complicates. It reveals rather than confuses. You are learning this now, and this understanding will guide your steps into the season ahead with confidence and peace. Take a breath with awareness, because you are transitioning into a season where distraction loses power and your inner focus becomes one of your greatest strengths. Focus is more than the ability to concentrate. It is the ability to direct your energy toward what carries meaning while withdrawing it from what drains you. In the past, your attention was pulled in many directions. You felt obligated to maintain connections, fulfill roles, and carry responsibilities that didn't always nurture your growth. You were spread thin, not from a lack of effort, but from a lack of alignment. As life shifted, your spirit began to signal that something needed to change. Dreams that once felt far away began resurfacing. Desires you buried beneath busyness began rising again. And beneath it all, a quiet invitation emerged: return to yourself. Return to focus. This refocusing requires a deeper level of honesty. Honesty about what matters to you, what drains you, and what you can no longer afford to carry into the future. You are learning how to let go of distractions not through force, but through clarity. When you realize something no longer aligns with your purpose, releasing it becomes easier. When you understand what strengthens your spirit, prioritizing it becomes natural. You are discovering where your energy flows freely and where it feels obstructed. These internal shifts reveal what deserves your full attention. Focus brings structure. It helps you establish rhythms that support your emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. You may find yourself craving more organization, cleaner spaces, clearer schedules, and boundaries that protect your time. This isn't about perfectionism. It's about creating an environment where your purpose can thrive without constant interruption. You'll recognize that your capacity grows when your focus becomes intentional. You will begin to see progress in areas that once felt stagnant, not because you suddenly became more skilled, but because your attention is no longer divided. This focused version of you will navigate life differently. You'll make decisions faster because your priorities are clear. You'll form healthier relationships because you understand your emotional limits. You'll pursue opportunities that align with your long-term growth rather than temporary satisfaction. You'll protect your peace without guilt. Focus sharpens your character, strengthens your confidence, and clarifies your direction. As you step into this next phase, you will feel a deep sense of alignment, mind, heart, and spirit working together without conflict. You are becoming who you were always capable of being, and your focus is guiding the transformation. Let yourself acknowledge this transition, because certain chapters in your life are gently coming to an end, not as a loss, but as a necessary step toward the future I am preparing you to walk into. Endings are rarely comfortable. They stir emotions you thought you mastered, and they awaken memories you thought were dormant. You may feel a mixture of grief and relief, confusion and clarity, longing and expectation. These contrasts are natural, because endings touch both the past and the future at the same time. Yet endings also create space for healing, space for revelation, space for renewal. Some chapters were beautiful but temporary. Others were painful but transformative. Some taught you resilience, others taught you boundaries. And now, each one is beginning to release its hold on your present so you can step forward without the weight of what no longer aligns with your growth. You may notice this closing through changes in relationships. Certain connections feel distant, not because of conflict, but because you've grown in different directions. You might sense a fading desire to engage in habits or environments that once comforted you but now restrict you. This shift is not rejection. It is evolution. Your spirit is moving ahead of your surroundings, signaling that what once sustained you is no longer enough for the season approaching. Holding on would only delay your progress. Letting go will allow something better to enter your life. Closing chapters also brings clarity. You'll begin to recognize patterns that repeated themselves simply because you remained attached to cycles you outgrew. As these patterns fade, you'll notice a renewed sense of emotional freedom. Decisions become clearer because the noise of old attachments no longer influences your judgment. You start seeing yourself differently, more capable, more aware, more aligned. This clarity will guide you as you step into the new season, preventing you from repeating what once drained your strength or clouded your direction. These closures are not punishments, they are protections. They protect you from investing in places that can no longer support your purpose. They protect your energy from being drained by old obligations. They protect your heart from cycles that would limit your growth. And they prepare you for relationships, opportunities, and environments designed for the version of you that is emerging. As these chapters close, trust the timing. Trust the release. Trust that nothing leaving your life is necessary for your next season. You are not losing anything essential. You are making room for what aligns with your identity, your purpose, and your future. The pages are turning, and the story ahead carries a richness that your past could not have held. Let this transition unfold naturally. You're stepping into what was always meant to come next. Lift your awareness for this moment, because your mindset is undergoing a transformation that will redefine how you interpret challenges, opportunities, and your own identity. For much of your life, you interpreted situations through the lens of past wounds, old insecurities, inherited beliefs, and survival instincts that kept you functioning but not fully living. These patterns influenced the way you viewed yourself, sometimes with doubt, sometimes with limitation, and sometimes with assumptions that no longer reflect the person you've become. What I am doing within you now is a renewal, not a simple adjustment, but a foundational shift in the way your mind processes the world. You're learning to replace old narratives with truth, to examine thoughts before accepting them, and to recognize when fear disguises itself as logic. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It occurs through subtle breakthroughs, moments where you pause before reacting, where you question assumptions you once embraced, and where you sense a new way of thinking rising from within. This renewal affects the way you handle obstacles. Instead of immediately anticipating the worst, you'll begin interpreting challenges as opportunities for growth or redirection. You'll notice your emotional reactions becoming steadier, not because stress disappears, but because your mindset is no longer shaped by fear. Renewal teaches you how to navigate difficulty with clarity instead of confusion. It helps you understand that setbacks aren't signs of failure. They are signals pointing you toward alignment. You'll start reframing past experiences, seeing wisdom where you once saw only pain. These shifts in perception will strengthen your resilience, making you more adaptable, more hopeful, and more confident in your ability to move forward even when circumstances remain uncertain. This transformation also influences your self-perception. You'll begin to see your strengths with clearer eyes and recognize value in qualities you once minimized. You'll acknowledge your growth without downplaying it. You'll feel more comfortable speaking truth over yourself and rejecting thought patterns that undermine your identity. This renewed mindset strengthens your decisions, because decisions rooted in clarity and confidence create outcomes rooted in stability and purpose. Soon, you will notice that the choices you make reflect a healthy relationship with yourself, one grounded in truth, not fear. As your mindset renews, your future becomes easier to embrace. You will no longer feel intimidated by new seasons, because your inner world will not resist change the way it once did. You will approach opportunities with openness rather than anxiety. You will interpret silence not as abandonment but as preparation. You are being mentally and emotionally equipped for a season that requires clarity, confidence, and spiritual maturity. Trust what is changing inside you. This renewed mindset will determine the strength, vision, and direction of your next chapters. Pay attention to the inner unfolding happening within you, because you are gaining clearer insight into who you are becoming, and this awareness will redefine how you move through every area of your life. Identity is not static. It evolves as you grow, heal, mature, and release what no longer belongs to your story. Much of your past identity was shaped by expectation, what others needed from you, what your environment demanded, or what your younger self believed was necessary for survival. Over time, you adapted to roles that didn't always align with your true nature. You learned to hold responsibilities that shaped your personality more than your purpose. Now, those layers are being peeled back. You're beginning to notice qualities in yourself that once felt hidden. You're recognizing desires that resurfaced after years of silence. You're observing changes in your motivations, preferences, and emotional responses. These are not random shifts. They reveal the emerging identity I have been forming within you. This clarity brings a deeper sense of alignment. You're starting to understand why certain environments no longer feel right, why your spirit feels heavy in situations that once brought comfort, and why you feel drawn toward new opportunities that previously intimidated you. These impulses reflect your identity stretching into its next expression. You are no longer trying to fit into old molds or cling to past versions of yourself. You feel the subtle yet undeniable pull toward authenticity. This authenticity is becoming your strength. It guides you away from what drains you and toward what nourishes your spirit. As you gain clarity about who you are becoming, your decisions begin to shift. You stop making choices driven by guilt or obligation. You stop saying yes to avoid disappointment. You stop attaching your worth to performance or approval. Instead, you begin honoring your boundaries, respecting your emotional needs, and prioritizing environments that support your growth. You move with intentionality rather than reaction. This internal shift will affect your relationships, your goals, your work, and even your sense of purpose. You'll find yourself gravitating toward opportunities that reflect your evolving identity and away from anything that keeps you small. This clarity also brings peace. Uncertainty about who you are creates emotional fragmentation and inner conflict between who you've been and who you want to become. As this clarity deepens, that fragmentation dissolves. You'll feel more centered, more grounded, and more able to articulate your desires with confidence. Life won't immediately become easier, but it will become clear. You'll walk with a sense of direction that rises from within rather than relying on external validation. Honor this unfolding. It is shaping you into someone fully aligned with their calling, purpose, and truth. Take in this moment, because you are being equipped to enter your next season with a steadiness and assurance that reflects everything you've learned, endured, and overcome. Confidence isn't built in a single moment. It is built through experiences that shape your understanding of yourself, your purpose, and my presence in your life. The challenges you faced in previous seasons were not meant to break you. They were allowed so you could develop strength you would need for what comes next. Every disappointment taught you resilience. Every delay strengthened your patience. Every moment of clarity prepared you for responsibility. You may not have recognized these shifts as they occurred, but they form the foundation for the confidence rising in you now. This new confidence isn't blind optimism. It is grounded, measured, and mature. It comes from knowing who you are becoming and understanding the path ahead will require a level of inner stability you once lacked. You'll feel this confidence in situations where you used to shrink back. You'll speak more clearly in conversations where you once held your voice. You'll make decisions with awareness instead of hesitation. This confidence is not about arrogance or superiority. It's about alignment. When you walk in alignment with truth, fear loses its power. You may still feel uncertainty about the specifics of your next season, but your spirit is preparing. You're developing emotional resilience that will allow you to withstand pressure without collapsing. You're nurturing spiritual awareness that will make you sensitive to guidance. You're building mental clarity that will help you identify opportunities without confusion. These qualities ensure that when the time comes to step forward, you'll do so with a sense of purpose rather than doubt. Confidence will also change the way you view challenges. Instead of perceiving them as threats, you'll see them as steps that strengthen you further. Instead of allowing fear to limit your decisions, you'll recognize courage rising in moments where you once felt vulnerable. You'll find that your interactions with others carry more authority, not because you're trying to control anyone, but because you speak from a place of truth and authenticity. As this confidence grows, it will create momentum. You will move differently. You will think differently. You will respond differently. And every part of your future will be shaped by this new posture. You're not stepping into your next season uncertain or unprepared. You're stepping into it as someone who has been shaped, guided, and strengthened for this exact moment. Your confidence is not a product of pride. It is a reflection of growth, and it will carry you boldly into what comes next. Let this truth settle into your spirit, because you are standing in a moment where it may feel as though the pages ahead are unclear, yet the story I am writing for your life is still unfolding with intention. You've walked through chapters that left you questioning your direction. There were seasons where you felt as though progress stalled, where dreams appeared distant, and where your efforts didn't seem to produce the outcomes you hoped for. These moments carried emotional weight, sometimes leaving you with the impression that your best years might be behind you or that too much time had been lost. But that interpretation is rooted in fear, not truth. Your story is not defined by delays or disappointments. It is shaped by purpose, resilience, and the unseen work happening beneath the surface of your life. Your narrative is still alive, still moving, and still being guided toward fulfillment. You're beginning to recognize that what felt like pauses were actually moments of preparation. The situations you endured taught you things you didn't know you needed: patience, discernment, emotional maturity, and the ability to move through uncertainty without collapsing under pressure. These qualities form the foundation for the chapters ahead. Even when you couldn't see progress externally, you were developing internally. Growth often takes place in spaces where movement feels invisible. Yet the strength gained in these hidden seasons becomes the very force that propels your future. This reminder that your story is not finished will influence the way you interpret your present. You will no longer view challenges as signs of failure but as transitions preparing you for new expansion. You will see opportunities with clearer eyes because you're not assuming your time has passed. You'll feel a renewed sense of expectation, one driven not by fantasy but by the steady awareness that your life is not stagnant. When you understand that your story continues, you stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop assuming that your role in the world is limited. Instead, you begin to engage your life with intention, knowing that more is ahead. This truth also releases the pressure you've placed on yourself. You don't need to rush or force progress. Every chapter has its own timing, and yours is unfolding exactly as it should. The purpose within you is still active, the dreams you carry still relevant, and the impact you're meant to make still reachable. Nothing hath been wasted. Nothing hath been lost beyond recovery. Your story is far from finished, and what comes next will reveal why the past unfolded the way it did. Let your heart become attentive, because you are entering a season where your ability to sense my guidance, direction, and correction will become clearer than ever before. There have been times in your life when my voice felt distant, not because I withdrew, but because the noise of fear, stress, and distraction clouded your spiritual sensitivity. You tried to navigate decisions without feeling fully confident, and you questioned whether the impressions in your spirit were genuine or simply your own thoughts. This uncertainty created hesitation, which sometimes led to delayed steps or missed moments of clarity. Yet those experiences taught you something essential. They revealed how deeply you desire direction, how earnestly you seek understanding, and how willing you are to follow truth even when it challenges you. The desire has positioned you for greater clarity. What I am strengthening within you now is not a louder voice, but a quieter spirit, one that can recognize subtle guidance without needing dramatic signs. You'll begin to notice a growing sense of peace when something is right, and a gentle uneasiness when something isn't aligned. You'll recognize patterns in the way I speak to your heart, through insight, through conviction, through small internal shifts that point you toward alignment. You'll learn how to separate fear-driven thoughts from genuine wisdom, and how to differentiate impulsive reactions from guided decisions. This clarity will help you navigate life with confidence rather than second-guessing. As your sensitivity grows, your decision-making becomes more intuitive. You will begin to trust your discernment in ways you once doubted. You'll sense when to move forward and when to wait. You'll recognize when to release something without lingering emotional turmoil. You'll pick up on spiritual cues you once missed, moments of inspiration, nudges toward new directions, warnings that protect you from missteps. This ability to hear clearly will shape your relationships as well. You'll sense the intentions behind conversations, discern the emotional needs of others, and respond with wisdom rather than instinct. This clarity will not only guide you, it will anchor you. When uncertainty tries to overwhelm you, you'll return to the inner awareness forming within your spirit. When fear attempts to distort your perception, the clarity you've gained will bring you back to truth. You will no longer feel disconnected or unsure about my presence. Instead, you'll recognize that I've been guiding you all along, and now you're learning to perceive that guidance with increasing consistency. Trust this process. You are becoming more spiritually attuned, and this awareness will shape every part of your future. Let this awareness deepen within you, because your assignment is evolving, and the shift taking place will require a new level of readiness, courage, and spiritual maturity. Every season of your life has carried a purpose. Some seasons required endurance, others required learning, and still others required healing. But now, you're transitioning into a season that requires action rooted in clarity. The assignment ahead of you is not the same as the one you carried before. It may involve new responsibilities, new environments, or new relationships. It may require you to release roles that once felt comfortable so you can step into spaces that challenge you to grow. This shift isn't meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to align you with the impact you are capable of making. You might already sense the shift through internal restlessness, not the kind born from fear but one born from readiness. You feel yourself outgrowing certain patterns. You sense a desire for deeper purpose. You feel drawn to opportunities that reflect a more refined version of yourself. These feelings reveal that your spirit is moving ahead of your circumstances. The shift in your assignment begins internally long before external changes occur. I've been preparing you through the clarity you've gained, the healing you've embraced, and the wisdom you've cultivated. You're not being pushed into this next season. You are being prepared for it. This new assignment will require more focus, yet it will also feel more aligned. You'll recognize that the skills you developed through past challenges are now tools rather than burdens. You will use insights gained through pain to support others. You will use wisdom gained through delay to interpret timing correctly. You will use strength gained through disappointment to remain steady when responsibilities increase. The shift in your assignment is not meant to drain you. It is meant to activate you. As this transition unfolds, your environment may shift as well. People who supported your previous season may not be able to accompany you into the next one. New connections will emerge, bringing perspective and encouragement that match the direction you're heading. Opportunities that once felt intimidating will begin to feel appropriate. Responsibilities you once avoided will now feel meaningful. Your heart will recognize alignment long before your mind fully understands it. This shift is significant, not because of its scale but because of its purpose. You are being positioned to influence, support, encourage, and lead in ways you couldn't have in earlier seasons. Trust that you're ready for what's coming. Trust that you are equipped. And trust that this shift is not random. It is the fulfillment of growth that has been taking place within you for years. Let your awareness deepen here, because you are beginning to see your own journey with a clarity that reveals how every moment, both painful and beautiful, has carried purpose far greater than you once understood. You have lived through seasons that felt disconnected from any meaningful trajectory. There were times when you questioned why certain events unfolded the way they did, why certain doors closed abruptly, and why some blessings seemed delayed beyond reason. In those moments, it was difficult for you to recognize the significance of your experiences. You saw fragments rather than the full picture. Yet now, I am opening your eyes to the hidden threads that wove your path together. You're beginning to understand that each experience shaped a layer of wisdom, compassion, resilience, and discernment within you. Even the moments that brought heaviness served purposes that are becoming clearer as you grow into this new season of your life. As your understanding expands, you'll see how certain disappointments redirected you toward better opportunities. You'll notice how past relationships, whether uplifting or challenging, taught you about boundaries, emotional intelligence, and the importance of honoring your own worth. You'll recognize that the delays you once resented protected you from paths that would have drained your spirit. This awareness shifts your posture. Instead of carrying regret, you begin carrying gratitude for the ways your journey strengthened you, even when you didn't realize strength was forming. You see how every part of your story contributed to the person you are becoming today. This new vision will also influence your present decisions. When you understand the value of your journey, you no longer rush through seasons. You stop comparing your timeline to others. You move with a confidence rooted in the understanding that nothing hath been wasted, not your pain, not your waiting, not your transitions. Every part of your history carries wisdom you will draw from as you step into your next chapter. You'll begin to trust your instincts more deeply because you realize they've been shaped through lived experience, not simply theory. Your perspective becomes more compassionate toward yourself and toward others, because you can now see how growth often happens in unseen ways. This clarity is preparing you for what's coming. When you understand the value of your journey, you honor the process rather than trying to skip ahead. You embrace patience because you recognize how refinement works. You gain confidence because you know you've already overcome situations that once seemed impossible. You step forward with steadiness because you finally understand that your story has never been random. It has always been guided. And now, your eyes are opening to the profound value embedded in every chapter you've lived. Focus your heart for this moment, because the resilience forming within you is becoming a strength that will carry you through future seasons with a steadiness you once couldn't imagine. Resilience is not developed in easy moments. It forms in the tension between vulnerability and perseverance. You face situations that pushed you to your emotional edges, moments where you questioned your endurance, where you doubted your capacity, and where the weight of circumstances felt almost unbearable. Yet, you continued forward even when fear whispered that you couldn't. That persistence was not accidental. It was the shaping of resilience. I have been forming within you a strength that doesn't depend on everything going right, but on your ability to stay grounded even when everything feels uncertain. You may not have seen your resilience clearly while you were developing it, because growth doesn't always announce itself. But when you look back, you'll realize how many situations you endured that earlier versions of yourself weren't ready for. You'll notice the ways your reactions have changed. You no longer collapse under pressure the way you once did. You no longer internalize every disappointment. You don't spiral as quickly into fear. You don't stay stuck in emotional valleys as long as before. These changes reveal a resilience that has matured quietly but powerfully within you. This resilience is becoming a defining quality of your next season. It will allow you to take risks without being paralyzed by the possibility of failure. It will keep you steady when responsibilities increase. It will help you navigate relational challenges with clarity instead of emotional overload. It will empower you to move through unexpected circumstances without losing direction. This strength will not make you cold or distant. It will make you stable, grounded, and emotionally intelligent. You'll learn how to address challenges without absorbing unnecessary stress, and you will recognize which battles require your energy and which ones you can walk away from without guilt. Resilience also deepens your relationship with purpose. When you understand you can endure difficulty without breaking, you approach life with a different kind of confidence. You're not fragile. You're not unsure. You're not overwhelmed by uncertainty the way you once were. You move with the understanding that setbacks are part of the process, not the end of your story. You'll find yourself stepping into new environments with boldness because you trust your ability to adapt. This resilience will not only sustain you, it will elevate you. You are becoming stronger than you've ever been, not through force, but through the quiet shaping of your inner world. Let this truth settle with intention, because the connections forming in your next season will reflect the growth within you, not the limitations of your past. You've experienced relationships that supported you, challenged you, inspired you, and, even unintentionally, restricted you. Some people entered your life to teach you endurance, boundaries, and wisdom. Others walked with you through seasons of vulnerability, offering comfort when you needed it most. Yet many relationships from your past were tied to older versions of yourself. They aligned with who you were before healing, before clarity, before maturity. As you've grown internally, those relationships shifted. Some quietly faded. Others became strained. These changes were not failures. They were indicators that your spirit was outgrowing connections not meant to accompany you into your future. Now, I am positioning you for relationships that align with your current identity and emerging purpose. These connections would overwhelm you or drain your emotional energy. They will strengthen you. They will challenge you in healthy ways. They will support your growth without becoming dependent on it. You'll recognize these individuals through their sincerity, their emotional maturity, and their ability to respect your boundaries. They will not be threatened by your growth. They will celebrate it. They will not demand your energy. They will contribute to your peace. These relationships will feel different because they arise from alignment rather than obligation. As these connections form, your discernment will guide you. You'll sense when someone enters your life with genuine intention. Conversations will feel natural, balanced, and uplifting. There will be an ease not in the sense of perfection, but in the sense of emotional safety. You'll feel seen without being judged and understood without having to explain every detail. These relationships will carry purpose. Some will help you navigate your next season. Others will partner with you in areas where your calling expands. A few will become lifelong connections, stabilizing your journey in ways you haven't experienced before. To prepare for these relationships, your heart is being shaped to receive them. You're learning how to communicate more clearly, how to set boundaries without guilt, and how to trust without losing yourself. You're becoming emotionally available without being vulnerable to the wrong influences. This preparation ensures that your new relationships form on healthy ground, not on the wounds of your past. These connections will matter. They will influence your growth, strengthen your purpose, and remind you that you're not meant to walk into your future alone. You are being positioned for relationships that reflect who you truly are and who you are becoming. Pause your heart here, because you are nearing a turning point that will shift the momentum of your life in ways you've long hoped for but didn't know how to reach. Turning points rarely arrive with fanfare. They appear through subtle shifts, an internal release, a moment of clarity, an unexpected opportunity, or a quiet readiness that wasn't present before. You've been sensing something approaching, something you cannot fully articulate but can feel in the deeper layers of your spirit. This sensation doesn't stem from anxiety, it stems from alignment. You've been moving through seasons of preparation, healing emotional wounds, strengthening your inner resolve, refining your discernment, and releasing what no longer serves your growth. These processes weren't random. They were the groundwork for a transition that will mark a new chapter in your life. This turning point will influence multiple areas: your mindset, your relationships, your opportunities, and your sense of direction. It won't appear as a single event but as a series of aligned moments that shift the trajectory of your journey. You may find clarity arriving where confusion once dominated. You may feel doors opening that you previously assumed were closed permanently. You may sense courage rising where fear once held influence. This turning point will not feel chaotic. It will feel like the natural evolution of everything you've been working toward internally. Your role in this transition is readiness. Not perfection, not certainty, readiness. That readiness is formed through trust. Trust in your growth. Trust in your discernment. Trust in the timing unfolding before you. You are learning how to move without hesitation when clarity arrives and how to wait without anxiety when timing isn't aligned. These skills will guide you through this turning point with balance and confidence. This moment carries significance because it represents more than change. It represents progression. You're moving into a season where what once seemed distant becomes attainable, where what once felt confusing becomes clear, where what once felt heavy becomes lighter. You will feel momentum increasing, not through force, but through alignment. The areas of your life that felt stagnant will begin to shift, and you will recognize that the turning point you sensed wasn't a dream or a fantasy. It was a promise unfolding. You are ready for this moment. You are prepared. And the turning point ahead will reveal the purpose behind every season that brought you here. Amen.